He could just go and hit that tower forever. And then did not happen, and it doesn't feel so bad anymore to 5-man rotate and get a kill, because look, they already across the map thanks to the gate here, so things are working out fine for them.
Yeah, their moves have been spotted, however, but I don't think OG really cares about that too much, as setting their sights towards the bottom tier 1 tower, get themselves a bit of a push going and open up the map a little bit. They've already placed down the aggressive vision down those camps, so they know that the Medusa can't play in this area anymore. She's going to have to move deeper into the Radiant jungle to find those camps and keep up that farming pace. But this Monkey King is getting online fairly fast, which is also a positive remark for OG.
I think with Tundra's draft here, things are going to get kind of weird for them pretty soon. If you look at their heroes, they have like Techies and Clink support. Blast Off is their really only stun at the moment with RP. So they're going to want to farm a lot if the map starts getting quite stale. They're really good at farming the map. However, OG's heroes are really good at picking you off when you're farming the map. So it's going to be of like, how much can Tundra get off the map with their heroes and how much can OG punish? Because OG doesn't necessarily have the greatest heroes, so there's a glimpse happening. And this is what I'm talking about.
Also, the Blast Off trying to escape, but just gets glimpsed, yeah.
Like, you don't have the option on OG to out-farm Tundra. It's just not going to happen. Your heroes are worse at it. However, you do have the option to play aggressive and kill them as they're farming, and kills give a lot of gold here. So it's going to be Tundra farming and OG looking to punish.
Well, the first 11 minutes of play, OG up with 9 kills compared to the 4 from Tundra. Despite Tundra having a pretty good early start for themselves, OG has been able to turn the whole course around and being the ones in charge of the pace. See if they can keep it up, and Tundra, can they find any answers? They have spotted out the Spirit Breaker in the top lane. Shapeshift is up to 2 seconds. He still has the charge to get away. The Wolves already starting their work. Skitter is just going to get blown up at the same time. Has no durability whatsoever, but Aramis, oh, the right click's 9 HP. Just going to be enough for Aramis to escape, but you just lost the Medusa. Talked about those deep wards. They locate her, they find her, take her out of the game.
And we're seeing a little bit of the nerfs that happen to do so. The shield not absorbing as much, getting less base mana from it as well. That early Diffusal Blade. You're now in a situation where you get solo killed. And you see, they're trying to make plays on Tundra here, but what can you do?
Yeah, there's no answer whatsoever coming from Tundra at the moment. They will kill off Aramis. Soxa finding a kill, but it's still a 1-for-1 OG. They could potentially keep up the push here, unless they want to spread out once again and start the hunt for Skitter.
And you're seeing the different approach from Tundra here. You did get the tier 2 top from 9, because he realizes his hero doesn't offer too much in these fights. So he's just going to do... It's going to be Rat Dota. That's all it's going to be. And again? Your Augie's just... hunting Skeeter right now. And Skeeter's like, I'm playing Dusa, guys. I'm a late game carry. Give me some space. And Nine's like, sorry, bro. I'm playing Lycan. I got to push out these lanes. I got to farm. You got this Magnus here. He's going Echo Saber. I was like, yeah, sorry, bro. I'm farming too. So Tundra, their timing is not now. It will be later. Things are still fine. Even though they're dying across the map, they are still out farming them. And some capacity is on the map here. However, they got to find a timing when they can fight, and they got to stop the bleeding. It's only less than a 1k gold advantage.
Yeah, and they spotted Soxa as well. Another found hero. Charge already locating where he's going. Yoragi is going to be around. They drop a sentry down to make sure this Clinks is going to drop a 33. Can he get in time for the rescue? Soxa's about to drop. They even dropped the Static Storm, prevent him from using that RP. And of course, the Skewer glimpsing him back as well, back into the fray. He's going to be a very tanky boy, but DM's going to be here. Oh, he's going to just miss the Magnus's exit. Rocky kind of diving deep as well, recognizing this is probably good to leave it here. We just got the Clinks kill. Let's chill for a bit. Or are we going to chill? They're still looking at Magnus. BZM's here. They got the Sonic Wave ready to load it up. Just need to do a little bit more. Glimpse and the Skewer. Beautiful time from Chu. That's the 3rd time he's done it this game. And they will take down the Vanguard Magnus.
I think one of the biggest... Now. Yeah, at this point, with I guess the nerfs did help a little bit, but your Augie's just playing Monkey King. He's got 4 points in stun, 4 points in Jingu, and only 1 point in Tree Dance, which is typically your farming ability. So we're going to see, like, what's better this patch? The map is 40% bigger? Ganking or farming? A lot of people would think that farming this patch could be a lot better. but OG still taking that aggressive approach here as they will find 9, but he does have Shapeshift.
Yeah, and Chu is around, so Glimpse is ready. We get the early damage. Shapeshift already popped as well. Aramis actually hit Soxa on the way as well, and that Clinks will reveal himself for another kill, but they will finish off Aramis at the same time. However, no skewer, no RP at least, unless he gets close enough to Yoragi. He tries to get the Wukongs off, and he will, and he's actually going to keep it up. All that tankiness. Skitter still diving in. Can the Monkey King fall? Yes, he will. 33 with a double kill. DM coming over the back as well with BCM and Skitter to drop. They will lose the Medusa once again. They're forced to answer this early aggression, but it will come with casualties. BZM with the double and 33. He's the last one surviving, but will he live to tell the tale? Doesn't quite look like it. He's going to fight against BZM. Aramis is already charging in as well. Tries to get some early poke here as well. Tries to kill Chu with the cleave out of all things, but BZM going to come out with a triple kill and, of course, a team wipe as well.
Look how long it took him just to take Yoragi out. Finished the Echo Saber there. Got his ultimate off. I feel like if they get the RP off before he gets the Wukongs off, he won't get that bonus armor from there, won't do that little bit of extra damage. Maybe that's a bit more clean and they can disengage or take the fight after. But that was a full team wipe from Tundra, just to kill 2 heroes. Sure, Yoragi was a great kill to have, but you don't want to lose your whole team for that, as Clinks... Oh, he's not going to commit for it on Aramis. So I did see the Clinks pick into the Spirit Breaker, and I think that's a little bold. Clinks is good this patch. I think one of the big strengths of the hero right now is the shock value it has. A lot of people don't really understand what the hero does because it was changed so much. But once you understand how this hero functions, getting on top of this hero is as good as ever. He doesn't have ways to defend himself, so playing against bounty hunters or Spirit Breakers is going to be very difficult as usual for this hero.
OG now converting into a push while Aramis locating Soxa in the bottom lane, but the distance to cover for the rest of them to follow is going to take some time. We're going to keep pressuring though. 33 is here, however. He's got some heavy right clicks to provide and take this Spirit Breaker down, but Yoragi looking for the kill onto Soxa. The Clinks should finally fall. And 33 is just on the way out, on the retreat, so that the rest of OG don't catch him. BZM already TPing straight back into mid. There's a dragon pushing the lane. Want to make sure that all these lanes aren't instantly pushed out as you found yourself a kill. So you can talk about Tundra, you talk about the Rat Dota. They're definitely playing that small openings on the map really well, but everything is coming at a cost.
Just the nature of their lineup, right? It's kind of what happens when you play the Lycan mid. You do get early objectives. I think 9 had a dream Lycan start. He got the mid tower, he got the top tower, he got the tier 2 as well. That one death does hurt him a lot. Lycan is one of those heroes that if you do play him as a mid laner, you kind of lose the advantages that a lot of your traditional mid laners will have, which a lot of time is just rune control and scaling. Lycan can scale to a degree, but it's not going to be the same as a Queen of Pain, who can quickly get across the map, play on low cooldowns, and make things happen. It's a lot about just getting your own farm, pushing buildings, and that's just about it. And that's kind of why we haven't seen his present very much, because he's done what he needed to do, but it wasn't enough for the team. They needed so much more.
You needed so much more from it out as well, considering that the Quap was second last in terms of net worth coming out from the laning stage of all the cores, and now just sharing that top with Yoragi on this Monkey King. Both having a great continuation for themselves in the last 6-7 minutes. 3,000 lead as well for OG. However, the win graphs aren't quite agreeing with that for now. They're still giving Tundra a fair good chance, but there we go. The Wukong's on top of snaking, and the charge to follow up. He's not even going to get the chance to play this game, or is he? Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Aramis will finish him off there. Sox is still lurking around the area. They're going to find a golem on top of it, so extra funding for OG.
It's going to be the name of the game here for Tundra. Just feed.
It's not over yet.
Yeah.
But the dust connected onto Clinks, isolated. Easy kill for OG to clean him out, but the Sonic Wave Static Storm, no RP coming up from 33. Bash coming up from Aramis as well. Gonna skewer him to the high ground as well, but Aramis still fighting to the end, and 33 to drop. There's another Thunderhide in action, and Skitter just trying to disengage and try to find himself an escape route. Can they still find another opening on the south side of this fight? The Thunderhide's just not doing enough damage, and also gonna be dropping to DM and BZM to find another 250 gold in the pocket.
I was going to say, they need to wait until Medusa is able to play the game. I think 33 dying there is pretty big for them. Losing supports, it's fine. Your 3 cores can make up the difference in the gold you lose from dying just by farming the whole map. I think you really just need to spread on Tundra until about that 25-30 minute mark, I'd say, until DOTA does have a couple items to be able to join the fights. But we see that their lineup here, that this Lycan mid, it did good. It did everything a Lycan should do. The only thing it did not do is complete their lineup. They don't have that hero that can run around the map and make things happen. Clinkz maybe could have done it if he had the perfect game, but this isn't the easiest Clinkz game. You're playing versus Spirit Breaker, you're playing versus the Monkey King and the Queen of Pain that can all jump on you. And Soxa is not a player we often see struggling, but he's having a rough game.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he's also the one support on the side of Tundra who does like to get a lot of his farm. Like at the Berlin Major, he was ranked first among all supports in gold in terms of percentage of team total. So he definitely loves his farm a lot, but he's going to have to get to that point too. Has been slowed down and hindered, but it's not all over for him yet.
He's still making some progress. He has dreams of a nullifier. He just ended up getting the shard, which isn't necessarily the best thing to have with no items, but they do see Yuragi up here. BKB's online though.
Let's see what they can do about this. DM already walking under the tower. Ramas charging up. Yuragi's been slowed down by a lot, so OG not feeling too comfortable going in front of the tier 2 tower, as they all just don't get there at the same time. Also a missed Gale. Tundra, at least they get to chill for a bit. They will lose a tower, denying the Wisdom Rune as well as Soxa. And an instant smoke. Let's see what they can do with this. They're heading towards the middle area, suspecting someone's going to be defending the mid lane. They see BZM has gone back. What can they accomplish here? Potentially
we'll
DM could be a catch. Maybe if they silence BZM, it's an opportunity. There we go. RP into the blast off, and that is going to be a clean kill. Or is it? 6 HP? Are you kidding me? BZM! Oh, I don't know if you can call that even calculated, but 6 HP from dying is just not enough. They're going to lose Snaking. They're going to lose 9 as well with the Shapeshift being used. That's a 2-minute cooldown. Oh, boy. Sox is going to make it out because the Glimpse was already used, but oh, man, Tundra, that hurts. That is Spain without the S.
Yeah, that was definitely rough. It's funny because the difference between that kill or not may have been the fact that Snaking went to drop a proximity mine instead of just doing one right click. And that 6 HP could have made the difference there. Tundra just really not catching a break whatsoever here. Very unfortunate for them.
And they found Skitter. Oh, he's got no backup. He's going to TP out, but Aramis not going to make there in time. He's good. He's good.
Yeah. But it's like, what's Skitter trying to accomplish this game? Maybe Butterfly is going to be a timing in which he can make something happen, but Monkey King's swimming in gold by the time he sees this Butterfly online. In fact, Skeeter's just going to walk around with the Eagle Sun. So the moment he shows, I wouldn't be surprised if Yuragi's just like, alright, instantly queue up the MKB or the Bloodthorn and take your pick, burst through that evasion, and then you lose your timing right there as Medusa. But they're going to have to play around that. We'll see if this Butterfly on the Medusa is going to be what brings him back in this game or not.
Monkey King also making work towards the Harpoon. They found Soxa as they were taking Roshan. With BZM to pick himself another kill. Currently 7-0-6 on the Queen of Pain. Topping the net worth board as well. Everything looking pretty shiny for OG if they can just keep up this tempo, because everything is going according to their game plan right now. What's the worst thing that could happen to them? And I'm not talking necessarily, well, of course, if they lose a team fight, that could probably be it. But is there something else to it?
The worst thing that could happen to OG? Well, I don't know, there's a lot of ways to answer that, but in game, the worst thing that could probably happen to them is most likely just losing fights. Their lineup is really good from ahead, but if they lose map control, it'll be a lot more difficult for them to play the game.
Yeah, I also feel like if they just go passive as they are looking for 9 in the top
lane. He's gonna TP? No, what?
No, sir.
Maybe he dies regardless there, and he just wants to force out the Sonic Wave, but that was never gonna work.
Nope. Ramis, Shadow Blade attempt, but there's a sentry down on the ground, so he's not gonna make his way away. Yeah, losing that Shapeshift Lycan once again. No playmaking capability for Tundra. But I guess with OG, if you let go of the throttle, basically, if you just go passive, I think that's just an easy win condition for Tundra.
Yeah, for sure. If they decide to go passive, but I don't think they will do that unless they lose a team fight. So it's going to have to stem off of them losing map control. And generally when teams do start to play passive, it's because they don't know what to do. And there's no way in hell that OG doesn't know exactly what to do. Not a single thing has gone poorly for them yet in this game.
Roggy playing behind enemy lines here with Snake King's Tech Keys.
Are we going to get
bringing him back?
skewered in, or...
At least he's not going to give away
there it is.
The Aegis right away. He's going to have to fight for it. 33 right against him. Skidder going to be joining the battle as well. Looking for the RP mischief use as well. Aegis burnt Yuragi. He doesn't even have the full team. There are only just 3 here. Skidder not going to pop the Stone Gaze right away, but they're happy with this. DM taking some hits from the clicks here. Wukong's command used up as well. Medusa mana pool almost completely depleted. Has to be careful of his positioning. Aramis looking for the Nether Strike. Gets the connection. Will cost his life, but Skidder to drop in 3 hits from Yuragi and BCM. And now Saksa also on the side. Snaking, he's got his full arsenal ready, but the fight's not ready for him. 33 looking for the RP, but at least gets himself a skewer play to catch the Disruptor. Saksa already down. Chew to fall. 33 also very low on HP, but the Sonic Wave's gonna finish him off. 9 still running around with that fresh shapeshift at BCM. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, he's done that before. Every time he sees the Lycan approaching, he's just gone.
So much relies on this Magnus to make things happen. He does have the Harpoon available, which we did see, I think it was Berlin, was Ace doing it, just the Blink Harpoon into Skewer back combo. Basically the new Shard for Magnus. Like the old Shard that was being abused at TI-10, this one feels like it has similar vibes to that. And Monkey King decided Harpoon's a cool item, he's going to build one of his own.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, the Monkey King Harpoon was a little interesting as well. He's using it against Medusa in a way to keep Medusa inside of the ring a bit longer. It's not a lot, but everything helps out. And as you mentioned, it does give more stats and does have a little bit of utility if you don't have the ability to get on top of a hero. Maybe you can get on top of, you know, the Clinks from a distance or the Medusa. Help you get off some Jingus so you can get your Boundless Strike off.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
If he's going for this this Medusa to build up those stats, then for sure this Monkey King with those Jingu stacks is just going to obliterate you super fast.
Yeah, you do have the Butterfly for protection now, so if this isn't good enough, I'm not sure what will be. As the net worth advantage is still going the way of OG and continuing Saksa. Good luck with that.
Yeah, they're coming to help him out. 33 is considering going back in, but doesn't look like a fight they can take. They also spot the Disruptor on the side. Chu's got full vision and information. Gonna find the, yeah, I mean, they're going for the Saksa kill, but now the Medusa feeling like a bit open here. E-Blade popped on top of the Medusa, ain't going anywhere. Skidder into the Static Storm from Chu. Yeah, you're just gonna have to forfeit your life here. Man, yeah, Chu's positioning here, like, they're already fighting Saksa. They know they're going to kill him under the tower. 33, he's not feeling, you know, we don't actually have the damage if I go in and RP. I'll give my life away as well. But Chu, meanwhile, he's moving in the jungle side, looking for a ward positioning while also getting information that there's probably more heroes here and spots the Medusa. Could it be better than that?
It really can't. I think if you're OG right now, you feel like the whole map is yours, and you would be correct in that assessment. As Tundra, I can't see what they can possibly do right now. I think their best hope is going to be a risky play, and that'll be just group up as 5, try to bait a fight out. then you're not farming the map at the same time. But what timings are you looking for right now? I see 9 has boosted travel queued up, so is Tundra's approach really just going to be, let's never fight, just keep feeding, and hopefully we can make that 40-minute mark where Dota gets super crazy, maybe the 60-minute mark, and then we can change some 20k advantage our way? We'll have to see, but they're going to group up now.
At least that 60-minute timer does allow you to get those Necro books on the Lycan.
Oh, yeah. Really a throwback there.
Yeah, really a throwback for sure. Oh, the good old days.
Lycan just hasn't been the same since the removal of Necro 3. But what can you do? And this is a risky jump. I think DM knows that they might be smoked, but they're going to go for it anyway. Is it a Jabate?
Okay. Well, he's got the halberd ready to pop as well, but the DM's not going to be tanky enough to survive. As I'm saying that, he does get his ulti off. And now we also get the Sonic Wave to connect. That's going to be 33 to drop, but Aramis does get stunned up by the Mystic Gaze. And now Yuragi, he's in between multiple heroes, but Skitter is the one they want, and Skitter is the one they will get. Snaking a 9, both trying to TP out. One will make it, the other will fall behind. Now Soxa as well, still fighting against Aramis here, but with no luck. 4 heroes dead from Tundra. And what did they get? We got a Veno.
It was just more of a desperation play. They felt like they needed to make that play work. They were already smoked. If they play the map, they try pushing top, they try pushing bottom, it's going to be the same old story. They're going to get charged, or Yuragi's going to be waiting in some tree. They're going to feed. I feel like they're just in a very difficult position this game to do anything.
As you can see, like that's the opening that they get, basically. OG's very split around the map, but they're still capable of getting there in time. And Medusa's positioning, right? Like Skitter, he wants to use the gaze to go aggressively, while they've actually caught Yuragi with the RP on live camera, and he's the one to drop behind the tier 2 tower. Yuragi, what were you doing there? It's not the first time I see the man play in this area.
Yeah, his only deaths... Well, how many deaths? He has a 3, I guess.
He lost the Aegis there. You know, he's lost his life. Yeah, he's like... gives me some TI-11 flashbacks. It's like Yuragi. You remember that that one game where OG just had their player drop, couldn't reconnect to the server. Very, very long pause.
Yes,
he died in front of the tier 3 tower all by himself. Nobody was around. What was he doing? He was just trying to push.
And these deaths are costly, but as they will potentially get 9 here.
Potentially, Shapeshift is ready, but stun into stun. A lot of take damage as well. Yeah, nice. He's not going anywhere. Another kinetic field dropped by Chu. And gonna save himself. The Ghost Scepter dropped as well. So Soxa can't get any hits onto Chu either. Do find an answer, even if the Monkey King is dead. Oh, they found the techies a bit accidentally there.
Oh, they were searching for him. They just weren't able to get the glimpse. Without the vision, just wasn't quite there. You do have to be a little bit worried here, though. Just a little bit, if you're OG. You dying like that on Yuragi is pretty big, because the items, they're going to come online eventually. Clinks is going for that Nullifier, which will make it so this Monkey King, his Jingo, constantly gets purged off. So you'll have avenues of bursting him a little bit better. So that'll be a big timing from this as well. Medusa's Medusa. She's going to keep scaling into this game. And I don't think you have the best scale on OG. You can make up for the scale with net worth, just by continuously playing the map, having more items than your opponent. But if the net worth ever drops to even, Tundra's going to make up for a lot of the issues with their draft through itemizations. So if you're OG, you're not scared yet, but I think you need to regroup, not make any more big mistakes like that. Play for Roshan. It shouldn't be that hard to do, but just play a bit more, not passive, but disciplined.
Yeah, discipline would definitely be the reward here. Ramas fighting against Soxa and will find the kill. So how does that translate into decision making as a team, especially? Do they feel like we're forced to really like go in 6th gear and just go for the maximum, or are we just going to have to face the reality that the opponent's team is going to be picking up these big items and the game is still not at a decisive moment for us to win the game? How does the decision making happen at this point of the game for OG?
Oh, just play the map the same way you have been playing it. Try not to make as many mistakes. If you have a 15k gold advantage, I think you're totally fine in this game. regardless of how late it goes, your heroes will be fine as long as you're scaling. It really just comes down to not throwing that lead away. Getting the Roshan. Now your Augie will have Aegis yet again here. We'll have a cheese for the Queen of Pain. And I think the Queen of Pain is going to be the big X factor in this game. I talked about Lycan versus Queen of Pain. Who scales better in late game? It's not even a question. It's going to be the Quap.
Oh, they've got the shapeshift already popped from 9. He's trying to take out Chu as quickly as possible. Aram is getting the beautiful 2-man charge stun into the boundless strike on both of these heroes, and Chu will get the walk away, even losing the golem in the process. Just baiting them out there. Man, this guy has been playing such a good game on this Disruptor. It's not the easiest game. It feels like this could be a game where Disruptor has like 15 deaths. He's got 2.
A lot of it has to do with how well he's itemizing as well. He went for the Pavis into the Solar Crest, now he's got a Ghost Scepter. Really just building to keep himself survivable and his team. Going all for the auras, not much has changed about the patch in that regard. Building auras is still the strongest, not going for the Agnum Scepter, which is also really powerful, but really just prioritizing staying alive from the Lycan. Realizing Lycan's job in this game is to kill the Veno, to kill probably the Monkey King's out of the question now. He wants to kill Veno and he wants to kill the Disruptor, but they're so damn tanky now. Venomancer with the Crimson Guard, with the Halberd. Lycan's not killing anything anymore. He's only got an AC and a Helm of the Overlord.
They also scouted out Saksa once again. Pretty deep behind enemy lines, but DM
There's a
with
gem.
the gem, he's a bit too far away. Okay, Saksa, he's got nowhere to run. Going to get spotted. He'll get on a real fight for his life, at least. It's really taking it all the way. But they will find 9 at the same time on the high ground as OG just pushing their advantage, and that's a ticket for the tier 3.
Yeah, we've kind of seen throughout the whole game here, right? Tundra doesn't necessarily have a game plan. Their game plan was to do Tundra things, have the more efficient lineup. But efficiency doesn't really matter if your Augie's just running around the map, destroying you, and you can't farm anywhere. So a lot of credit goes to your Augie here, how well he's playing this game.
Oh, he's still got the Harpoon available as well, Skidder. He can't really run away. The Kinetic Field, the Static Storm. And the Medusa still slowly dropping, but as the Hamana Pool disappears, that's an easy kill for OG. And that's no buyback on the Medusa as well. 76 seconds gone. Techi's going to get charged to the back line as well. 33, still trying to battle it in the front, but he's got no more damage. But I think Tundra, they're pretty much done for at this point. They just don't have the tools to fight back against OG. But they will probably still give another attempt. This bottom lane, though, that's completely gone.
That's what I was kind of doing there at the end there. I was kind of just reading their eulogy as I didn't see any way of them really getting back into this game here. They don't have ways to take these fights. The way they drafted really was set up for them to snowball the game. They had a decent job of doing that, but they couldn't find that little extra piece of the puzzle to continue the snowball. Or more so, OG shut it down with a Spearbreaker and Monkey King play.
Yeah. Most importantly, BZM, he's going to play a flawless game at this pace. 20-0-13. That's a 33 KDA for the Queen of Pain mid here for BZM. And everything just seems to click perfectly. Maybe the first 8 minutes were going good for Tundra with efficiency in terms of having that overwhelming power to push down objectives. But OG, just those early rotations into the point we've got into this game has just been a one constant avalanche. They're very happy with their results here in this game 1. And at least setting themselves on a path to potentially start building into a series victor versus Tundra. Of course, we're not that far, but game-winning game 1 is already a whole lot more considering how many wins they have against Tundra in the past 12 months. But Medusa, one more final fight, just completely, you could technically say, disarmed as he's got no bow to shoot and all that control. GG called, Tundra will tap out, OG take the first game with a massacre of 52 kills.
Yeah, this one wasn't very close at the end of the day. I think Tundra, they'll be able to quickly look back at their drafting here and make some adjustments or play. Playing their draft feels very difficult. It's not an easy thing to pull off to play with very little stuns, without a playmaker, picking a hard carry along with more heroes that want to farm as well. And I feel like OG's game plan was pretty simple. You just run around and kill everyone. I don't know if they're going to get such an easy game going into game number 2 with like how they were able to execute this one. I'm expecting a lot more coming from Tundra in game number 2 here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Tundra, they can be a real powerhouse, but like you said, they have a very efficient draft. just needs so much more time to get built up, and OG, they recognize this kind of flaw in the plan, and they really utilize that to every single drop. So I am confident OG can still keep it up, but we're looking for Tundra to maybe bounce back. However, let the panel break down what really went down here in game number 1.
We thought we were going to see something spicy coming out from Tundra. We thought there could have been some success, but T, you went to that deep dive, and it was successful in the past. Not so successful this time around, though.
Yeah, poor old Tundra. To be fair, though, I think they kind of dug their own grave a little bit with the Lycan pick. I don't think we were really expecting it, and like Fear just mentioned at the tail end of the cast, it really just put Tundra in a position of, if they aren't snowballing the game and dictating everything, they are just going to get aggressed, and they don't really have like a plan B. Like normally when Tundra goes greedy with their lineups, you can always see like that silver lining, like don't worry, if they get to this item they can maybe do it, even if they're 30k down they can. But this lineup, it's like, yeah, if you're already losing, you're not taking down those early towers, yeah, OG just styling on them.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know how you do it with a Lycan. Like, I see this, like, Ember, Void, Puck or something coming out, and then, like, oh, yeah, I can see how this works. The Lycan just feels, it's so all in, you know? And they were out.
Yeah, I was also impressed with the Harpoon on Monkey King. That's an item that I've really liked in this patch. We saw it be really flavor of the month when it first sort of came out in the patch, and then it teetered off a little bit more, but now it's finding its situations, and it looked really good to ensure that OG were able to keep doing that run at you, keep running at you, oh, we got to pick it off, we get to keep running at you sort of draft that you talked about, Trent.
Yes, it would seem that you don't actually have to be a Universal Hero to buy this, believe it or not, despite it being so insane. I know. It's a wild concept. As much as Mag loves this item, Monkey King also made great use of it. And yeah, just great itemization. Recognizing that Monkey King, sure, maybe it's not like your first pick versus DOTA compared to these other defusal heroes we've talked about, but he's so versatile, not only in the way that he can play the map, and he's always been able to go for like very greedy builds or really aggressive builds, but he can also itemize into these situations where he's just like snowballing the game off of defusal plus that harpoon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, nice to see.
I will let you guys have your input for MVP, but I would be very surprised we're not all on the same page of who it is, right?
Honestly, I think my MVP call is going to be illegal, and I think chat might be very upset. So I'm going to go last.
I might be upset.
That I can live with, but chat.
Okay, wow.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll just do I'm just going Uragi, because, like, he's just sniping Medusa all over the place, making the game look really easy. I assume am I allowed, shall I be the basic choice?
Yeah,
Where
T.
were you going?
I was going with Klopp there.
Yeah,
I was going to go with BZM.
I expected someone to go Quap, because that 23-0-14 line does look very clean. But I was going to go with... No, I mean, to be fair, it was going to be like Uragi number 1 and then Aramis number 2. Aramis was going to be the left field one, where people probably get upset with me. Mainly because he's a stand-in player, but he's playing with the mindset as if he's been in OG for some time at least. Like, maybe this game was easy enough for that to look good, because it's just an aggressive lineup. It's easy to be aggressive, right? But probably should have gone to, Uragi or BZM most likely.
Oh yeah, look, I think Uragi definitely, even though the BZM stats could bait you a bit, you guys are right. Uragi was doing so much for his team. It's not all about the stats, it's the impact that he has. But you're right, Aramis really did just slot in so well. So even though we have Uragi here, he is going to be our MVP for that game 1. It is great to see OG just be able to pull out all the stops, and they feel like they haven't faltered at all having a stand-in for themselves there, T.
Yeah, I'm happy to see post-major, at least more teams thriving on the kill heroes and lane kill heroes and map, and not try and be greedier. Like, as the map gets bigger, teams are doing this. Alchemist, a lot of like, let's just go all fat farm, let's go, you know? But now it's like, we saw Entity in the morning, now OG here, it's like, it's the complete opposite. It's just like all these heroes that break the game so quickly that you don't get to greed up and utilize how big the map is now. And I'd like to see OG replicate that again in the next game, and let's see how Tundra can react to this aggression that OG has.
It was very aggressive, but Trent, before we do head to the break, what's something that you want to see Tundra really work on? What's something that you hope is their takeaway, and maybe a little bit of a team discussion between now and game 2?
I mean, we've harped on it a lot, but like, you know, let's just make the game a little easier. I feel like you're just making your game kind of hard going mid Lycan. Like, sure, I feel like even if it starts out well, it's still not easy. Whereas there's other heroes that maybe are just like giving you a better shot at initiating into fights and going along with your game plan. It is cool that they're trying to play that map in that classic Tundra style, and you saw some of like the shades of what Lycan could do when he's split pushing and stuff. But then I'm watching his creep die and feed away a bunch of gold. So let's just keep it simple, stupid, as we go to game 2.
Just
All right, well, let's.
Tundra. Hey, that's what Trent just said.
He did. What? But look, we're going to jump to a break before we do get that game at number 2, so let's head on to it.
I'm gonna hex one. And we can just kill this guy. Okay, I'm gonna follow.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, wait, what? Huh? Nice one, nice one. So they're probably gonna aim for far after this game again. I think it.
we've got game 2 between OG and Tundra coming up. Tundra were pushing the box. They were trying to. It's actually pushing the envelope and being outside the box, but I was about to say pushing the box and being outside the envelope.
I thought that was just like how Aussies did it, you know, a little
A little
upside
bit
down
backwards.
thing.
Yeah. I knew that joke was going to come up after that one.
Probably never heard that one. Yeah.
No.
That's the first time.
That's a good one, Trent. That's funny.
I'll just say I'm sorry.
Right there.
Yeah.
I need a tally. How many times can we make the Australian joke in the next 3 weeks? But yep, Tundra, OG going for something really nice. Even though they had that stand-in, it looked like T. We've already talked about it before, but just how flawless it was. Aramis slotted in perfectly. He is the similar sort of play style as Tiger, as you said pre this series.
Yeah, again, like going back to that game, it was a shaky start from OG in regards to their offlane, but because Uragi had that free time topping that 1v1, he was able to then start making the rotations, and it made like Aramis feel more comfortable, made the Venom feel more comfortable. So it's like, I think if Tundra going into this next game, they need to respect that if they are going to do like a tri-lane, they need to break it so hard that when Uragi rotates, they're also killing off a farmed Monkey King to put them in a deficit. I think they didn't really handle this whole tri-laning, give Monkey farm scenario that well. And then, like you mentioned, Aramis, Uragi, all these lads, they group up together, they thrive, they do OG things, and they crush it. So, yeah, Tundra, they have a lot of things to kind of just work on, I think, in the second game.
Yeah, that mid Lycan was one that you did already mention, Trent, pre this break. But the Clinks, it's a +4 or something that can be played in a number of positions. Let's be real here. But it is something that's coming about just from this patch, just the popularity in it. Do you feel like it had an impact on that game, or it just wasn't set up for the best time? There was always going to be a little bit of disaster and struggle for it.
It's
One answer to this.
Don't pick this in your pubs. Please don't. Is that the one you want? I was listening this morning. I do, you know. I do my research. Yeah.
So that I can get my picks in and get it to myself.
Yeah.
I mean, Spirit Breaker just made him feel like nothing. All right. But anyway, back to you, Trent.
Oh, no, that's true. Spirit Breaker makes stuff. I think it's also just like you have to really get going. And Spirit Breaker is a great hero at shutting that down. But like, I feel like we're going to see this a lot. It doesn't mean Clinks is like bad. It just means that like he's going to be like one of these like win more supports. So he might need a little bit of help in the laning stage. There used to be heroes that would be like Troll Warlord would like help these weaker supports to like build them into something, get something cool. Just like focus on that sort of idea of like the strong lane. But then at the same time, you also need to be avoiding those like game counters for like rotating around, because Spirit Breaker is an excellent example. So it was pretty cool because to like open up with that so early in the draft.
It was. I mean, it was also a bit of a wild support duo T. You already said about it. Like, you know, if you had said it even 3 years ago, you said 5, but even 3 years ago, I feel like if you said it was a Clinks techies support, people would be like, bro, what?
Yeah, it's just the fact that they don't really have, of course, techies now has a stun, but like it's just weird in its own right, and it is very much like go mentality. For me personally, looking at the draft list, I think Clinks thrives a little bit on first pick more as like some 16-17 combo, because then you see 3 heroes and you'll have a good read after seeing 3 heroes. Like, do you have pick off potential? Can you play an aggressive lane? Like all the weaknesses you can kind of soft answer. When you pick it blind from second pick, it's like you only see 2 heroes, then you pick up like this disruptor down the line, you're picking it into Spirit Breaker. So I think, yeah, Tundra didn't pick this Clinks in the best position. I think they know it themselves. And it will be cool to see how teams kind of calibrate this, because I think this is the type of pick that can make and break your draft. Like if you force a Clinks into a game, but you can't ever make these Clink style plays, then you're like a no stun solo crest hero that does nothing, right? So it is going to be interesting to see how the teams calibrate this hero.
I want to see them like mega annoyed by Tire Bomb in lane. And if you're not getting mega annoyed, I feel like this hero is not quite there. You're not going to like make it to that whole mid game situation. But we're back. We got the beef again.
What's the change up though? Veno banned in first phase.
Yeah, it's the respect ban, but it left Beast in the. Oh no, it doesn't. Sorry, the Wind Ranger is the one that gets left in the pool, and OG just want to be like running it back with the Spirit Breaker. Aramis looked great on it. It's comfortable. They know how to draft around it. Why wouldn't you want to?
Yeah, I mean, it still opens up for a lot of these aggro offlaners still, and also again, this is why Spirit Breaker's so good when he has the damage within his bash. Of course, they patch it in and out depending how they feel. But it's like with Spirit Breaker, you can pick like any ranged hero, take the fight to them. We've seen Bat Riders offlane thrive a little bit recently. That easily can be picked up. Of course, Darkseer, even though he's been getting hit with like some soft nerfs now and again, he still has an immaculate win rate in pro pubs. So that's still a combo that can be, picked up potentially.
I was actually looking at some bad games earlier because I was hoping that Aramis might pull it out. He's been playing a lot of support Bat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of cute, but unlikely to be showing its face here. As we once again see the familiar opening. So they obviously still feel good about this. I know 3-3 was spamming Mag. You already played 4 games of Mag, I think, today. So he's very confident on making this hero work.
Oh, that's adopted.
Oh, that's pretty early.
That's very early. Yeah. So now it's going to be this is the beautiful thing in drafting, is because when you pick a hero that has like a plethora of counters, you now get to see in the mind of OG, like, what do they see as like the big 3, Like, do they care about like some Oracle? Do they care about some like Jug-esque hero that can, survive through the Iron Shell and heal up, or some Lifestealer type thing? So it'll be really interesting to see OG's read on Darkseer. Enchantress, of course, was another option. Yep, they're just going for some supports.
Yeah. No real choice there. I guess there are some cores too that there's like arguments about the whole animation thing. It's not quite as game ruining as it used to be, and obviously then you have counterplay with the illusion, so it's like it's not as one side as it was. But those are truly the 2 that ruined you by getting rid of the Iron Shell. If you guys aren't Darkseer players or don't hear Lyrical talk about it constantly, he actually sets his preferred heroes as Oracle or Ench, hoping that the other team will see that and then maybe ban them.
Ooh, smart.
Yeah, he's got strats.
The reverse psychology, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, they go Bloodseeker. Forgot to mention that one, of course. With 2 heroes that are very movement-based, Darkseer, get rid of it.
That's no good. Yeah, but that's great. I mean, solid foundations from both teams. They have really cute combos. It's all just about, like, I buff you up, you kill, or I'm going to pull them into bombs. And, we've all seen this before. And you got plays all game, stuns into damage, into solid steps. I feel like these are, specifically the Mag techies, I'm expecting to see quite a bit of over this season. I'm not so sure about, like, Darkseer or Spirit Breaker, but hey, right off the bat of the season, maybe they'll get you a free win.
You know what I'd love to see from Tundra? I'm skeptical they can pick it though, but like some Shadow Demon. Because it already does, obviously not in lane, but it does what you want to have in regards to the purge aspect.
Yeah.
It prevents Spirit Breaker from locking onto that one target because you have disruption. It does put yourself in a lack of damage situation early on, where it's like you have some Mag techies that need to do a lot of work, but I'd like to maybe be covered down the line. Instead, Tundra this time, it's like, you know what, let's not go to last pick and pick up a Lycan. Let's just pick that Pangolier that we probably should have picked last game. Let's pick it up early. And of course, OG banned Bloodseeker themselves, so yeah.
That's a nice play. To see that ban come out and then immediately recognize, like, oh, hey, we can get an earlier Pango than maybe we usually would. And, I mean, they do have the 10th overall pick, though, so that's kind of nice of them as well. So they're still going to have these options for, like, I already got rid of, like, the most annoying counter, and then I still have 2 more picks right after this, too. So bit of a rough spot here for OG, but obviously they haven't really given much away. Like, sure, they've given away who their 3-4 is, but, like, you can itemize, you can play pretty different styles with Darkseer. You don't have to be, like, Mega Greed or, like, Mega Push.
This is, like, Slark +1 if for OG, I feel. Like, maybe there's some, like, Void or something for Tundra to respond with, but I think just the game will be broken so quick that Slark will just thrive. It gets Darkseer, Iron Shell plus Surge, feels really good. You can pair up with the Spirit Breaker quite nicely. So I think, some Slark plus Lich, some Slark CM.
He just plays the same game again on Yuragi, right? Like, he's basically, it's just Monkey King again, but on Slark.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they could also pick Monkey King, to be fair, but I think
he is banned.
Leans more into the... Oh, he's banned, of course.
I had the same thought as you. Yeah,
all right. But in that case, that's even further cementing the Slark idea. Ooh, tiny. I feel like I'm looking at, like, a Nigma draft from, like, last tour. Or, like, last year. To be fair, it's been, like, pretty much ever since I started doing, like, analyst stuff for, like, the last 2-3 years, Kuroki always does, like, a draft where it's, like, Darkseer, Barra, Tiny plus stuff, you know? It's always like these 3 dudes that appear at some point. Yeah. Like, it's always these dudes that appear at some point. Like, once they crush a game, everyone says Nigma's back, and then they don't ever return, and then whatever. But it's always these heroes that give them that, glimmer of hope. Now OG has them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on Tiny yet. He did win a game earlier today. I believe Noob won that game when he was playing Tiny. So, did he win that game? I think he did. Yeah, he definitely won that game because he got carried hard by Omar's techies, and it was hype. Yeah, no. Well, it was Omar and Omar.
Everything was riding on the Pos 4. I remember
Are you
that.
happy he played Tiny, or are you not happy? Like, if you...
No, I'm not happy. Honestly, I don't know. It's like it's whatever. It's like you see the matchup's okay. You go Tiny mid. I just feel like it just reminds me of this idea of like you have to snowball pretty hard with the hero, and if things don't go well, they go really poorly. And your two first items of just like Blink Echo Saver, you just do the same thing the whole time with those two items. I don't know. It's not my favorite thing, but hey, if it works, it works. And then obviously you do have potential for like Ags plays later on if you're really snowballing the game. But there she is, Nat. You mentioned she slipped through those bans, and we're gonna get a Wind Ranger game.
They took a long time, by the way. They're down to like 18 seconds, I think, of reserve time. OG, sort of picking these two heroes up for themselves. Maybe they didn't really know where they wanted to put the Tiny, or if they wanted to reveal it this early on.
Potentially, yeah. I'm looking at OG's heroes, and it's some Spirit Breaker probably 5 here. Is it Windrunner mid?
I don't know. Do we have? Can we check the cams? Is it actually Chu? Is it Seb? We have to make sure here. Could be a 5 coming out.
True.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Has any team done Windrunner carry yet? Because I've been seeing it a lot in pubs. In high-level pubs. I don't know if it's really bled into the pro scene yet.
I know she got picked twice. I think 3 times already. Let's see.
Have a gander.
Yeah.
I know it's been, of course, this Diffusal Windrunner being annoying, universal hero. We keep harping on about the damage and whatnot. So I have seen it run wild a little bit, but
yeah. No, it's
a little bit too left field. Yoragi has a slight spell and still talking, so potentially he's trying to tell his team not to put him on it. We have to keep it in mind.
So far, it's just been mid and some support, so nothing too crazy. But universal hero, so who knows?
There we go. And Tundra decides to go for a snap fire. Against all that aggression from OG, it's always nice to throw in some more damage, because now it's Mag goes for his Vanguard, Echo Saber, whatever. He can stand up front, and then behind him, you're going to have Swashbuckles, Mono Kisses, all the techie spells. Like, it's going to be harder for OG this time around to find Aaron. Oh, did he catch the fly?
I don't think so. There was no celebration in that. He was just annoyed. But I want to interrupt. I want to interrupt very quickly. At the major, OG did run Uragi with Wind Ranger.
I knew I saw it from somewhere competitive.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so Uragi has done it. And
so it is this exact team.
Perfect. All right, good. All the stars aligned. Again, another reference. I'm sorry.
You just can't let it go.
I can't let it go.
Okay. All right, so what does Kuro pick last year then?
Oh, they've already picked the Weehaw Windrunner from back.
Yeah, we got that. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so who's on the roster?
Mind Control has got Darkseer. Okay, that's good. That checks out.
Kuroki's got Spirit Breaker.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Tiny.
Yep.
So what's Miracle? Oh, sorry guys, I just said the big M.
Right.
Hurt some fans. What's Miracle playing in the situation? It's a difficult one. Probably some like Terrorblade or just win the game solo type hero.
Not Elder Titan, at least, as Tundra will remove that. We also we have DOTA still in, so I guess really hurting from that last one. I guess not really a big concern because of the Wind Ranger. And you also have Pangos. We just got like Diffusals going on here, plus Darkseer. Seems like she's just not going to be mentioned in this draft.
I mean, I feel like these bans from OG give me an indicator that it is Windrunner carry. Like, I don't think you want to play into a Slark who's pouncing away from your ult, some Wraith King who can just tank through it, and then, second life, I make big plays now, so...
Nullifier, too.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think, OG's...
Tundra, read it exactly, because that Elder they've played many times before in the past, in that post 5, and then obviously disrupted very, very stable sort of post 5.
Actually a Wyvern game. Okay, do it.
No.
That hero just dead. We're just never going to see her again.
No, I'm down for it.
It's over, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so half-hearted.
Yeah, he's like, oh, sure, Trent.
All right, Chew
Hoodwink. The mic not even pick it up, I was whimpering just loud enough that the mic got it,
Yeah.
Now, I just want to see some true hero that can continue fighting, It could literally be...
Okay. It's literally just Wyvern, but good. It's just have a BKB or a magic debuff immunity piercing. I keep updating my lexicon here. Some potential for some clutch saves.
Like, I'm looking at his heroes he's played, like, pubs at least, and none of them would really be the perfect hero for dealing with the aggression of the Pango and all that chaotic nature. But Bane, yeah, it can do that. And yeah, Tundra decide, okay, you're going to be all cute with your Windrunner carries and your Darkseer aggression. Let's just pick up a Void and we will Tundra this game, farm up, and hopefully find that chance to beat you in that big fight. But if it doesn't come, then they can struggle. So like, if they don't have Roll, they don't have Mortimer Kisses, they don't really have damage. So OG have a big window to look to punish them once again.
It's kind of a annoying chrono game as well for Skitter, though. Like, you have these, like, if he gets off the Windrun or something before, there's going to be avalanches tossed in, some vacuum plays where you can, like, vacuum the allies of Tundra into the chrono if you're goated, like DM is, as well as just, like, Nightmares and Fiend's Grip. So, the general idea is there. It's also just a super solid hero right now, too. Time Dilation looks pretty solid this game, too. So, I do think Tundra just have a much easier game to play, especially compared to last game. Looks way simpler.
That's already off to the right foot for Tundra then, but T, are you going to give the 2-0 potential to OG? Are you liking it, liking where they're putting this Wind Ranger, trying out something different from other teams? It's their turn to experiment, you know? Tundra experiment game 1, now it's OG's turn.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Tundra would be really happy with their heroes because it is just stable, and when they're stable, they often find ways to make those plays, unlike game 1. But there's something about OG's lineup that just makes me happy. You know, it's just that Darkseer, Spiritbreaker combo. We're seeing some Tiny that potentially can pop off. I think Tundra lacks a lot of damage. And if OG don't make mistakes, like they didn't really make them in game 1, so I should be leaning at OG. I feel. Am I saying that for a win on the carry? I guess I am, yeah. Go on, off we go.
What's going to be the best timing for OG then, Trent? I'm trying to put you and T on the same page here.
Just roll, you know, just play around the Chronos, play around the RPs, you know, see your moments. There's definitely gonna be a lot of moments where you can like play aggressive and do really well. Don't get got by the like diffusal timing plus kisses coming out from the snap, because like Taggies and snap is gonna be really sick. It's gonna look a lot like Gaming Gladiators, where they just like take both supports and they run with the mid lane and they smoke around a bunch. That's what I see with these two heroes, is that they just want to like dominate the map with this Pango +2. So just handle that as OG and don't fall victim to it, you know.
Alrighty, well, I'm looking forward to seeing if Tundra are able to claw it back, if OG are able to hit those timings, as it's game number 2 between Tundra and OG with Fear and T-Panda.
Yeah, thank you, Nat and the T's and Trent for building up the scenario here. Tundra in history has been able to always either tie it up or win the series over OG, but now being a best of 3, could this be the miracle run? It is the Magnus faces Void that we were very heavily against in NA in the last patch. We remember talking about that a lot, but how do you feel it here? Does it feel like it's been amped up?
I think it's fine. I think Tundra's draft is exponentially better than last one. The last draft that they had a lot of holes in their draft. I didn't understand how they would play the game if they ever got behind. I saw the vision of maybe if they were ahead, but you can play at all stages of the game here with their draft here. I think the Faceless Void it can be risky, but I don't always judge a Faceless Void game off how good is Chrono. A lot of this hero's potential is based off how much can you use time dilation, and you can use it quite a lot in this game. There's a lot of heroes like Darkseer, Wind Ranger, Bane, even Tiny, who can go on a major time lock problem here if you can manage to get the dilation off.
Oh yeah, sure. This is a really good time dilation game when you put it that way, considering the long cooldowns that OG has. And of course, the mobility might be a tiny bit of an issue, despite having the Darkseer on the team, and of course the Wind Ranger. But Yuragi bringing out the carry Wind Ranger. As the panel already talked about, this is not something new, but it's obviously maybe not something they were potentially expecting.
Blood grenaded to death here.
Yeah, DM's dead. All right.
That was 2 blood grenades.
Benefit of the grenades, just tossing them around, and Darkseer. Obviously, you've got Iron Shell to start things off with. You never go level 1 Surge. I think that would have been even better for Tundra if he actually forced it to use it.
Yeah, I mean, interesting enough, they just were starting off securing the lane against the Darkseer, getting the kill on him. 33, he's playing a big strength tanky hero, so he can go to this lane by himself, drag the wave back here. Get a really good advantage here for Tundra starting this game off.
Yeah, they're very happy to get that early kill like they did last game. Of course, it was off of Yuragi. That was the first blood that they got from the Monkey King in game number 1, continuing to do so here as well off of the offlaner. The lane is actually, like, Snaking is probably going to have a very, very good time. You know, just chilling, just right-clicking away, throwing some pesky, sticky bombs. Darkseid can't really put up a fight, and I don't think the Spirit Breaker can either.
Darkseid lanes are very similar to, let's say, example, Sand King lanes, where whether or not your level 1 is good or bad can determine how the rest of your lane's gonna go. Because of that rotation and how they made that happen, I think Skeeter's gonna be happy from now on. Already, Faceless Void is a good hero against the Darkseer innately, just because you can kill his creeps, you can time walk out if you manage to take a little too much damage, the wall doesn't affect you very much, and of course, the dilation is super good versus the Darkseer here. Already sitting at level 2.
That is just massive. Like, they're just bullying this Yuragi wind over and over again. Like, what can you do? You've got Power Shot at level 1, you're still not level 2. You just get slowed by Shockwave into another slow from Scatter Blast, continue into the Cookie Stun. They're going really, really well for Tundra, at least from the side lanes. Getting an early kill on both. And I don't think they're going to be stopping just quite yet. Saksa does drop low as Chu does get an opening to fight back, but gets skewered onto the high ground by 33.
Interesting. As I was saying in the last game, like, I don't expect to see what happened to Tundra in game number 1 to happen again. Their adjustments that they needed to make were quite simple, and they made them. And arguably, with a stand-in, they should be the better team. I think they just got super outdrafted in that game, and already going into this game number 2, they've stepped it up a notch and look way better. The only issue might be potentially in the mid lane here, but this is a tiny favored matchup against the Pangolier, and 9 is still getting something. It's really going to come down to rotations at some point on which mid laner can make things happen on the side lanes.
Oh yeah, and of course, like, the whole theory about we're still at the start of the DPC's final tour. It is the first day, the first series, but scoring points early going to be super important for that TI spot, because currently sitting at 9th and 15th places on Tundra and OG. Tundra having a bit of an advantage over OG. Making sure that you're going to get those wins early is going to solidify your spot towards the major. You're going to get more points. For Tundra's sake, they can secure that spot a bit easier, but OG has to do a lot more heavy lifting in this final DPC tour, basically. They have only a 200-point difference, but that could just be the difference between life and death. Are we going to directly qualify for TI or not?
Yeah, it very well could be, and that's always something scary. And something else scary is DM's laning stage. Sitting at level 2 at 4 minutes now. Skeeter sitting with 11 denies on him. It's rough. And in the mid lane here, they need this to connect. At least they'll take away the water runes.
Yeah, and Yuragi is not doing much better either. He's at 10 CS right now, so both side lanes are not looking hot at all for OG.
Definitely rough for OG in this particular game. They went for a draft that is very unconventional. Very fast tempo, looking like they want to play the same pace that they did in game number 1, maybe feeling themselves a bit too much. And like, yeah, we can just run them over, guys. Let's go ahead and just pick carry Wind Ranger, put a tiny mid. Who knows if these are really going to work out, but they need to work out really badly because they don't have very good recovery paths.
Also, the factor of the chrono that comes later into this game for the Faceless Void. There's a lot of interrupts coming into this one, and top lane, they're trying to battle out against Saksa, but Chu also puts himself a bit out of position. Does have a Lotus to use for some burst, and maybe even get a kill on Saksa. 33 has to intervene, but the power shot from Yuragi, oh, that kill is going to be super needed for OG. It's their first one, but it also does open up the lane a little bit. It does push Wind Ranger up in XP with that.
Yeah, that's what they need. If you're OG right now, your draft is purely meant to run around and get kills. Yuragi wants to do similar things this last game, playing the Wind Ranger, making rotations on the map. This is not a hero that runs back to the neutrals and farms neutrals very quickly. Much like Monkey King with the build that he went. He wants to be active, and he's going to have to be active with BZM too, as he does get tossed back from the mid lane.
Yeah, they're trying to go for a play in mid, but at the same time, they do find DM in the bottom lane. They were poking Aramis for a moment, but Snaking and Skitter just get a good connection onto the Darkseer with that blast off. He really just doesn't have the durability required in this lane until he has that Vanguard.
6-minute rune.
Let's see if they can get a success here. It's a regen rune. That's going to be bottled up by 9. BZM, maybe even a kill on top of this. They got the Nightmare Slow on the Pango, keeping him away, but the charge from Aramis, healing himself up, pushes the snap onto the tower. BZM gets to live. And Chu, with the help of Aramis, will force away 9 and snaking out of that fray. Very, very clutch moment, getting that good charge in just as Soxa was feeling very confident about the dive under the tower.
Yeah, and you need to make these plays happen on the Spirit Breaker too. As we're going to see in the ball.
We see the bottom
DM
kill
went
here.
Down here. It's just poor DM. It's just, he's struggling so hard in this bot lane. 13 CS, dreams of a Vanguard. These are not the games that you look at as a Darkseer, and you particularly feel like you're in a good spot here.
Yeah, it's just a casual roaming techies, and you have been marked, my friend. At least they're making him slowly drop here, but OG looks like they're still going to get the kill with the tree toss. And that also means that the Wisdom Rune is going to be intact. I think he was looking for that in the first place, but he was found. And Chu, he's done the same thing in the top lane. Soxa was the one to pick it up, though, so Chu doesn't get the experience for himself.
Yeah, at least we didn't get to see a stolen Wisdom Rune. I feel like whenever you steal that first Wisdom Rune and you're already winning the laning stage, it's such a big snowball effect. It feels very difficult to get back into the game, so them stopping the techies there from getting to that Wisdom Rune was absolutely crucial for their game.
Oh yeah, for sure, because that also reduces the timing that Magnus can start doing those skewers into bombs combos, basically. And then, of course, with this Snapfire, having Mortimer's Kisses and the capability for Tundra to fight even more often with already a snowballing laning state, that could just shut down the Tiny, because it's a domino effect. And you got the Rolling Thunder onto Chu. The Haste Rune is also there. Nine's going to steal this one, too. So BZM, no action rune for a total of 2 minutes now. And Chu will drop, but a big combo comes out as well. Skitter with a time dilation. Aramis will finish off Soxa. He got him. Does he look for the deny? Doesn't look like he's going to get there in time. The slows are too much to deal with, and a double for 9.
A big worth it there, because you got Skeeter to rotate out of that bot lane, and you still get that kill on the Spirit Breaker onto the Snapfire, so now you just got to walk back bottom on Skeeter. Nine's going to join him here, but join him for what exactly? I guess we'll just stop and end up hitting some creeps here, or run back to the mid lane. And DM
just going on autopilot for a moment.
Yeah, DM's resorted to farming Ancients as a Darkseer with no mana. Just got some clarities delivered here. Trying to make what he can from his game, but DM's he's struggling in this one. He's having a rough one.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just going to take a bit of time as well for this Darkseer to have impact in this game. A bit of a bounty battle with Aramis of snaking.
Oh, and there's our
backing out. And top lane RP, yep, Chu to drop. Another kill for Tundra, up to 6 now.
Yeah,
Nine is also rotated. Maybe Hiragi does potentially drop here too. Smarshbuckle only one connection though. Turning around, getting some damage out with that Javelin, but here comes Skitter. And there's nothing to interrupt this chrono. So they will get Hiragi. Aramis charging in, charges into the Rolling Thunder of 9. BZM, oh, that's your Tiny dead as well. So you're going to lose both big cores.
What a rotation from Skeeter, though. Using the gateplay there, showing up. I was like, this could potentially be bad here for Tundra. If you make this turnaround, the focus fire was off, but Skeeter is there with the gateplay. Ends up getting the Chronosphere on the 2 heroes there. What a boss. And he gets an Empower for his trouble, too. It's like, alright, you gank my lane, here's an Empower.
Yep.
Farm it up.
Oh, that's a beautiful one, because it actually catches 9 on the back, too. Wasn't really playing on getting an interruption, or actually a shackle shot to connect, more just to slow him down for Aramis to catch him on the stairs, but he found an extra, able to get closer in, finish off the techies. And OG, they're also bringing in these kills, and like you said, they're a lineup that just wants to run around the map, look for these solo pickoffs from time to time. These supports really need to get their experience up, while Darkseer's just doing jungle things. They're both supports are currently 4 and 5, so not too far behind Tundra's supports, but it's not a very healthy situation to be in, because those big battles, they might just start from Tundra's initiative.
they could potentially, and Skeeter's gonna gate back to top, realizing that he's in a bit of trouble in that bottom lane as they try to make a rotation. But naturally, if the game is passive, you're gonna see Tundra pull ahead really far in the net worth. Faceless Void is going for that Midas, does have Empower. Mag is gonna obviously empower himself and farm a lot too. And Pango's a hero that naturally can just clear creep waves with 2 abilities as well. So we talk a lot about how things need to happen for OG, and they really do, and it needs to be soon. But I don't think Tundra's going to let it happen for free.
Set up in bottom. Mortimer's Kiss is used. 33. He's got himself the RP, but he's out of mana for it. He's just going to have to chase up Yuragi. Maybe now he can pop it. Yes, he will. Doesn't skewer in, just walks in for the RP, and Skitter to help him out. 33 for the kill. And carry Wind Ranger down.
Yeah, and that's your carry dead now. I'm trying to find a timing here for OG in which they need to make things happen. Because the state of the game is severely bad for them right now already. It's only 12 minutes into the game, but things are not great by any means. 9 has his defusal, already punishing BZM in the mid lane, burning all his mana, making so his rotations are a bit harder. Snaking showing up to help him get even more runes. Now he has a shield rune on top of it, so he's going to be god mode for the next 3 minutes because that rune lasts forever for unknown reasons.
Yeah.
And what do you do now if you're OG to make plays? I think you just have to group up and start fighting. Otherwise, you're going to be in the same exact situation that Tundra was in the last game. You're trying to run around, find farm on the map, but you're just getting picked off. Tundra's heroes are much better at finding you on the map now. The RP is... you can say it's a big cooldown, but it's back in 1 minute here.
Yeah, they found the Pango here, and into the Fiend Script he goes. That's a big one here.
Got a
Techi's
shield
also
rune.
stunned up by Yuragi, but the shield rune has been popped and activated. It's not going to be enough, though. And the kill is going to take place. Some mines drop down as well to get themselves these kills, but not going to happen. Just not enough damage. Even the Faceless Void's going to get caught here, but Chu, does he have the range for the Nightmare? No, he doesn't. So it's just going to be Soxa in the middle. Aramis gets blown up, walks into the minefield. Sadly, it's just that one only mine that you stepped on.
Yeah. I mean, if 9 could have got that shield rune off, he may be able to turn that by getting the shield crash off into the Rolling Thunder, but he was like less than half a second from getting that one off. But perfect chain stun makes it so he couldn't. Much needed kills there for OG. They got to keep up the pressure. Maelstrom is now online for Yuragi. Really looking a lot at what can he accomplish in this game, and it looks like it might just be his next death.
Yeah, looks like that's the only accomplishment right now is making a speed run to the graveyard. 20 seconds, he's going to be back up. But BZM, fresh Blink Dagger, smoking up with Aramis and DM. They locate 9, so this is actually been handed out to them. Don't have to look for the kill when it just waltzes into your hands. But 9, look at the Rolling Thunder. Oh, we got the Nightmare off on the wrong... Actually, it did connect onto 9, but it's going to run out before the Rolling Thunder does.
Yep, good old debuff immunity. You can still cast your spells on it. Just doesn't do anything. But the shield rune was the difference there. If he didn't activate that, he would have died for sure. Very strong rune. Allows him to escape a 4-man smoke gank. Quite powerful. And Snaking will also escape a gank from 3 heroes just by blasting off away. Yeah, and during that whole time, by the way, them trying to get those 2 kills, Tundra has gained 2,000 gold. And OG gained none.
Two big rotation attempts, a smoke gank, trying to get the blink reveal to work out for BZM, but no kills whatsoever going for OG there. So Tundra feeling very comfortable right now with how things are going. It's not looking as much for OG, and we've got a smoke coming up with a DD rune still up on 9. It's gonna expire in a while, but if they find a target right away, they can still utilize it. Mortimer's Kiss is ready, and of course
they just want to chrono someone
to BZM. Yeah, they could just chrono him here if they want to, but see what they do. BZM with the blink dodge. That's all they needed. Okay.
Well, that was awkward, wasn't it?
That was pretty awkward. Yeah.
That was pretty awkward, but. At the end of the day, he didn't know exactly where all the heroes were. They got the avalanche off him tiny. Didn't really read his blink fast enough to get the chrono off. And they just walk away on OG. It's okay. It's not the end of the world for them. They can just go again. Kind of shows the state of the game here for OG. They just kind of back. They have to back whenever they see Tundra right now. Yeah. And that's just the name of the game. They're going to use another smoke here on OG. I think if they do get good positioning...
They have good vision. They have really good vision in this area. Like, that sentry has been placed down before the orbs was put down, so they can see them backing away. But how does this fight start? They've got the Nightmare Fiend script onto Skinner. Perfect start for the battle, and that's your carry out of the game. Rolling Thunder, though, they got Chu. He's pretty much used everything, so he's happy to fall here, but he's making them pay for it as long as possible. The DM unable to help him out there. Neither is Aramis. 9. We got a couple of pokes out here. The Magnus being controlled for the time being. RP is there, and he's going to get the connection. That sucks him with the Mortimer's Kisses. He did get one connection, but that's all they needed. And that's all she wrote. DM's going to be dropping as well. 4 kills for Tundra with the cost of Skitter losing his life. So Tundra happy to take that trade.
If I see the double Seeds of Serenity planted on the ground, I'm backing. OG, they walk into the Seeds of Serenity. We have one on 9, and also Soxa. They both dropped them next to each other, so the whole floor was blooming green. As Uragi, I think he might be dead here. Because snaking hits for 113 damage, thanks to Universal Hero things. And he'll get the kill.
Yeah. I think we got like 6 or 7 Universal Heroes in this game as well, so expect a lot of right-clicking this game. Snaking to drop next. Sox is still being chased up. 33, no RP, but he's got some heavy hits. He's trying to break through Aramis and that shield. Still on the chase, skewering him down. Will finish off the kill. Soxa to drop as well. BZM, though, tossing out this Magnus. And that Echo Saber and the Vanguard, plus the Seeds of Serenity. Well, it's not a lot of extra regen, but it's enough to keep OG at bay. You can't kill me, boys. Just give up.
Yeah, we have a ton of Universal Heroes. I think teams are really eyeballing them just because of how the stats distribution works. So we got Techies is 1, Pango's 1, Mag is 1, Snapfire's 1, Bane, Darkseer, Wind Ranger. Yeah, that's quite a bit of Universal
Heroes. That's 7, yeah. Solid amount.
Thanks, I'm from
of,
NA, I can't
right
count, so.
Technically, I am too, in a way, but...
Alright, Harpoon online for 33. No blink, though. Just a Vanguard Harpoon rush.
Trying to catch Chu, but it's proving to be a bit difficult here. You get the cookie finally to connect on top of Chu. DM. Oh, the back wall on 3. Uragi here as well. Does get the shackle shot. And also the focus fire onto 33. He's going to be very durable, though. And Uragi would like to target him above anything else, but Darkseer in trouble. BCM interrupting the back line as well. They're going to take down Techies, and then they'll take down Knight's Courier as well inside. It's a little bit of a prize, too. They still got Chrono, but Uragi already dead. Chu to be following out as well, and 33 still alive after everything that's happened. And a 2-for-1 trade takes place, but they're not done yet. Blink ready on BZM. Aramis charging in, giving vision on Skitter. 9 missing out the swashbuckle. You don't want to get a 3-man shield crash. Gonna be a 2-man, so Tango gonna be very durable here, but Skitter still the Chrono. The threat is still there. Aramis will drop, and OG has to back away with the remnants of this fight. Just 2 heroes surviving after all what just we witnessed.
The Harpoon play is real. I think right now 33 is doing a really good job at understanding what he needs to do in this game. He doesn't need a Blink Dagger. All he needs to do is Harpoon and RP the Wind Ranger. That's it. And he's going to skip the Blink entirely, go for the Crimson Guard. I think this is normally when I see 33 in his prime. Meanwhile, as we see Soxa, might end up oh, their Yules is available. Maybe they won't get him.
Still got the vacuum. With the shackle shot, Skitter, Chrono, drop down. Aramis is going to charge into it as well. Oh. Taken into a different dimension indeed as the Spirit Breaker charges into the Chrono, but what can you do?
4 stacks of time dilation on the Darkseer right now. Not going to chase him out.
Snaking still hunting for Aramis in the tree line without vision, so nobody there.
So yeah, I think this game is
11,000.
I mean, it's even worse than last game, to be totally honest with you. Like, what do you do at this point if you're OG? They're in a similar situation. They picked a bunch of hipster heroes that have to win their lane. They have a very specific, like, win condition. They don't pick, like, the generic win route. Like, you'll see Gaming Gliders when they play. They can win from, like, all stages of the game because they draft very much so in a way where you have options throughout the game. OG, they've ran off options. Their only option right now is for Tundra to just make a lot of mistakes. Of course, they have to punish those mistakes, put themselves in positions so Tundra can make those mistakes, but their heroes overall right now can't do too much. Your Wind Ranger doesn't have anything, can't really farm, you're down 12,000 gold, it's not going to get much easier for you.
Now, OG hipsters confirmed. Yeah, that this Wind Ranger, it's been played by Nisha, by Q, by Leo Style. It's just been mid. So I'm not really blaming the position the hero is in. I can see it work as a carry, but you didn't get yourself a favorable matchup in the laning stage. It wasn't looking too hot from there either, so OG just doesn't get to play their playbook, basically, in this game at all.
I mean, it's just basically picking a lot of heroes that can only do a small amount of things. They don't farm Ancients very well. They don't hit buildings particularly well either. Pretty low building damage. They don't kill Roche very quickly either, and if you do, you have to commit focus fire, so if the other team does come contest it, you're pretty useless.
Yeah.
So you really just have to, like, own the map and kill heroes. You can get around the map quickly with Wind Ranger. You can get kills with the Spearbreaker accompanying that. However, if you're not ahead, like we saw in the Monkey King game, and making those rotations become a lot harder.
They located Chu.
And it's going to be a similar situation from last game where OG are going to struggle to figure out what they need to be doing on the map. And it's not really easy either. Tundra had the same issue last game when you're this far behind and you have a draft that it's difficult to see what your timing is. I'm trying to figure out myself here. You got an Atos, perhaps this Gleipnir going into the late game. Give up the map as much as you can to Tundra. Play the side lanes and just drag it out. Hopefully at some point in the game, Darkseer can get a huge vacuum. Only 2 points in the vacuum right now, so I guess levels is what they need more than anything. So until then, they're chilling as they're gonna take both Tormentors now.
I do also feel like it's hard to find an easy route for OG into finding win conditions in success in fights, because they're kind of one-trick ponies in a way. Like, you're waiting for a big vac wall combo, or you lock down a single hero, blow him out fast. What happens if the opponent just buys back in, has maybe TP boots, or fighting next to an enemy objective? I don't feel like OG can ever actually take that, because Tundra will always have the advantage.
And Tundra just went into 2 Tormentors into Roshan, or they did 1 Tormentor into tier 2, into another Tormentor, into Roshan, pretty much getting every single objective in the game right now. And they still managed to get a gold lead here. So, I mean, I'm painting a pretty grim story here for OG, which is fairly accurate. However,
it's not one to tell for the kids.
Yeah, there's always avenues to get back into the game. There's always that miracle that can happen, where it can make things happen. And it's mainly going to be off Tundra going somewhere on the map where they shouldn't be, and OG being ready for it.
Yeah, some stories aren't just always about sunflowers and waffles with ice cream. This one's definitely something very
Not
different
every
on the side of
story
OG.
has a happy ending.
Exactly. Tundra, though, closing out from multiple directions onto OG here. Nine picking up the Illusion Rune as well. Another extra dodge available. That's going to make Bane's life just a tad bit harder. 33, already pressing out the wave onto the tier 2 tower. And OG just trying to split and find farm around the map. There's so many items that they need. Maybe even too much.
Did he cancel the charge? Whoopsie. At any rate, it doesn't really matter. Ownage from Tundra here. Farming it up. Maybe OG can find some type of opening here in the mid lane on 9, but he's got an Aghanim Scepter now. He's quite tanky, 2,000 HP. That will not be enough for Tiny to burst anymore. One of the advantages that you do have as a Tiny against Pango is the dream of bursting him, because he's not the highest HP hero. But when you have this much farm, no longer a reality.
Even if you are riding the title of Comeback Kings, not every single game is possible. But let's see if this one works out. I mean, there's a chance here. Fiend Script onto the Pango. 9's going to be the target. Skitter looking for Chu. Maybe we'll find him as well. Shackle Shot does connect on 2 for 33, pushing them away from the fight. 9's already down, and Tiny is about to drop as well, so BZM to drop 2. And Aramis going to get Yul's up in the air. Yuragi still has Focus Fire available. Is it onto Skitter this time? Oh, he's just going to finish off the Snapfire. RB missed, though. So this does give a bit of an avenue. Nicely used Gleipnir as well at the same time as the Chrono does get dropped, and then we go for the Nether Strike to slow down Skitter just a bit of extra. Yoragi gets to stand his ground. The Chu, he has been spotted, but he pulls them all together. Can they make it work here? Just not enough damage. Their openings are so limited here, and Tundra, despite the situation, they will continue to find a victory. And that Aegis remains on the Faceless Void, so they finished off the range racks, and now they can just clean out that entire top lane of buildings. Liv forced out 2, maybe with Tiny respawning, they might actually have to back out. He is teleporting right nearby. But who do you go on? Harpoon play onto DM, skewering him down to the low ground. BZM has finally arrived, but yeah, it's just an avalanche.
Yeah, they're going to save their racks. They still have the BKB available for Skeeter. Now, I think they want to try and get out. Think he would leave the mag here for dead, or can he tank this?
Looks like he can. Focus fires up in 6 seconds, though, so the big cooldown is coming back up. Another Harpoon skewer onto Chu. Slowly dropping.
3 versus 5, no problem. Who cares? It just took one time dilation and Void going in to scare them off. That fight, you couldn't have got a better fight, I feel like, if you're OG. RP misses, you Chronosphere, you don't get, like, you get like 3 attacks off it, because luckily Yoragi did get the Gleipnir right before the Chrono went off. You don't get a better fight if you're OG here, so... Oh, the Harpoon play did miss there, actually. 5-man vacuum.
Surge too strong, I guess. You got the Rolling Thunder onto the high ground, and DM gonna be in the middle of it. So is Aramis with the Nether Strike. Will be targeted down. Chu is gonna be chased up by 33. They finish off Yoragi. And OG just dropping one after the other. This is definitely a very vice versa game from game number 1, where OG might have dominated, but this one totally in Tundra's hands, and they tie it up. We're going to game 3.
It was a clinical one. Straight from the laning stage, at no point did Tundra lose control of this game. They fixed their drafting entirely. After I saw them lose game number 1, unless they mentally tilted out of the game and started to like just draft the same way and going into game number 2, I feel like they almost had no chance of having as bad as a game as they did in game number 1. While as OG, they took their victory a little too far. They're like, oh, we did that in the last game. I just ran around and killed everyone. Let's do it again. But Tundra didn't let it happen again. And I think now OG has to go back, which I think this is going to be more difficult for them to realize, how can we beat this team if they're drafting at their best? Like, to just run at them, owning them the lane playstyle, it probably isn't going to work.
Exactly. Like, do we take a conventional approach or an unconventional approach? Seems like against Tundra, anything can possibly happen. But I think it's a good time to throw it over to our experts on the panel. T, take it over.
Yeah, it is the triple T's. Before we break down the game, though, were you guys watching the player cams after Tundra just won then, or was I the only one watching?
I saw some happiness. I saw smiles. There were smiles.
Did you see?
Are you saying they're bland? There's nothing.
No. Did you see Skidder take a drink from his mug? Someone said something, and he literally just sprayed water all over his monitor and the camera. Did you see it?
No, I missed that completely.
Okay, I'm gonna put production on the spot. Hopefully, we can get a replay of that one because it was actually so funny. But we can break this one down a little bit more. Something I know that you guys were watching was this game, and oh my goodness, Tundra showed up. They had something to prove. They needed vengeance, T, after that first game.
Yeah, and this game was just a delight to see. You never really want to see a team get shut out from aggression 2 games in a row, and I think they mentioned at the tail end there, like OG, they really subscribed to going aggressive. I was kind of blinded as well myself. I was like, yeah, surely they can do it again. Some tiny Darkseer, but no, you got some Faceless Void in the lane against Darkseer. You also kind of start bot lane for a brief second to get the kill on him, so you offset that matchup. Plus, the entire time.
Sorry to interrupt, but this page right here explains it all. As you can see on the left-hand side here, you can see there are 4 universal heroes on Tundra, but only 3 on OG.
Okay.
That's it.
This discrepancy, yeah, that has caused the victory here, and I don't think we need to look any further into it for this patch. We'll just play universal heroes.
I didn't pay as much attention. Oh, that would be good. I want to see a game of 10 universals, but I didn't pay enough attention in the game in a quest series to see if it also went the same way that the most universal ones, because I know for the first series, the Entity Liquid one, it was the same. So I think you're onto something, Trent. I think you've got the trend already.
Just me. No one else has figured this one out yet.
Maybe, I mean, Keza kind of hinted at it, but like he didn't really say it the same way, you know?
Just looking at the trends, isn't he?
He's a little slower, Kazu. It takes him a little while. Oh, that was good. Okay, thank you, T.
Thanks.
And T and all the T's here. Yeah.
Well,
That. You know, it's if OG had have gotten the ball rolling, you can see how it works, but it was kind of just a sort of an inverse of Game 1 Tundra. They fixed their issues. They were able to make plays around the map. And I was worried about, like, you know, maybe things are a little bit slow for Tundra, and OG does roll out of these lanes. You can see how they're very fast, high tempo, keep things moving, charge, but that's a classic Spirit Breaker game where it's like that whole thing with Disruptor we talk about, like playing from behind is just so, like, not fun on this hero.
I think in hindsight, if you're going to draft Darkseer, I think picking on 8 feels really weird because it's like you suddenly use 3 bans to protect a Darkseer, but it's like there's still some Pangolier threat to crush the game before you play. There's obviously Void in lane. Like there's so many indirect answers that aren't the haha your Iron Shells aren't having fun, you know? That like you can also prevent the hero. And it's not as if you pick Darkseer Spirit Breaker to crush every single lane, especially when they haven't even picked anyone in their safe lane at that point. So
there's a reason it usually comes out after like the Agi hero. It's like, oh, there is a Terror Blade. Let's pick Darkseer, you know? And then like those specialty Darkseer players always bring it into that situation. They don't, even the best Darkseer players, you don't tend to see it brought out or banned in that first phase. There's no concern until the issue is at hand of just like, Darkseer would make this lane very bad. Let us ban it.
Yeah. MVP, we have to do it for this game number 2. I really just want to put 33 out there. I don't know if you guys are going to argue with me. I really like the build he went on Magnus. I feel like he had obviously a very clear understanding of his role, and I think he did a lot. But T, no? You're not a 33 MVP fan?
He can get it this time. It's all good.
Yeah, he can have it. He can have it.
It's cheap to give it to a 9 Pango or, you know, a Skidder Void, you know? Let's throw it around to Magnus, especially because, you know, nowadays Magnus, you don't go for blink. It's all about the trident, the pullback, the skewers. So you do need to be in the right place at the right time. Positioning is key, and aura is still prevalent. But yeah, for Tundra, this is why they're confident with this opening at least.
I've heard you say this a couple times now, T. You trying to bring back Trident? What's going on here? That's a harpoon, sir.
Harpoon.
All right?
Bro,
respect this item for what it is, okay? We are not buying a Sanji, Yasha, and Akaya and getting a recipe here, okay?
I'm not Matumba, man. I'm not versed with the ocean and the seas and stuff. I mix up my harpoons and my tridents and my spears and whatnot. My apologies.
Jeez, you're not Matu. You're not Boxy. Who exactly are you?
I don't even know.
You're trying to steal identities.
I really am having an identity crisis.
Times are tough out here for T.
It is.
That's
soul searching.
Yeah,
it's like OG need to in game 3.
Hey.
Back to you.
I honestly thought Trent was gonna piggyback off that one, but no, that was the cold throw to me to be like, we're done. We have nothing more we want to talk about. But look, that's okay. You guys could think about maybe some more of what you want to see, how we're gonna squeeze in a 10 Universal Hero sort of game. Could potentially happen in game number 3, happening after this break. Welcome back. Third series. OG up against Tundra. We're going to game number 3. OG looked fantastic for that game 1. Tundra fought back, and it felt almost more of a stomp than game number 1, if that was even possible. These two teams are definitely showing up, showing what they've been working on in the past little bit since the major. And for game 3, hopefully we get a nice even one. That's what we're looking for, right, Trent? A nice even game 3.
Yes, no more stomping grapes to make wine. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right. So the players are the grapes for the wine
like,
in this.
No, like the game was like the grape. Well, the losing team is like the grapes, and then the team that won each game was like the people who stomp the grapes in like their bare feet, you know.
Yep.
Which they think they still do for every bottle of wine that exists. Which, you know, the old ways are the best ways, of course.
The old ways are the best ways, the stomping ways. T, if OG don't want to really be run over the same way that they were in game 2, what are you hoping some change-ups? And don't go with the meme answer of pick more universal heroes, okay?
No, don't worry. I've been universaled out for now. We're gonna wait until at least post game to bring that back up again. No, I think for OG at least, it's like the Spirit Breaker allegiance is good. I just think that they need to make sure they have one concept to push through, and I think Darkseer was a little bit early in the draft in my opinion, like I mentioned earlier. So I think Spirit Breaker plus some like aggressive support, and then you can go down the line some, you know, whatever cause to be enabled by it. But I wouldn't be surprised if we had the same pick order and the same opening again with Spirit Breaker on one side, Tundra going for the Mag Techies. I think it's OG's turn to now adapt into game 3, but yeah, I just don't Darkseer, boys, this early at least.
Yeah. Do you feel, Trent, that despite, you know, OG and Tundra losing one game each, has either team really felt lost on the map? You know, in this patch change, it's obviously gotten a lot bigger, but do you feel that they are lost on what objectives they can take, or not really knowing their limits and boundaries on what they can actually do with their lineup?
No, despite the massive changes, I definitely think it's more of a hero-related thing. I think I'm sure that the meta will change and like timings will change in terms of like what teams are trying to do over time as we move through this patch. But for now, I feel like everyone's sort of got this like relatively samey idea of what towers are important early, like trying to knock down these offlane towers seems to be more important than it was before. We're not like super hyper focused on these big mid pushes anymore. This idea of trying to get supports to the mid to like, try and get a little bit farm early, I've been liking that from a couple of these teams. So I think overall like map play and stuff is very similar. I think it really is just the heroes that we're trying to break down right now, and that's why the drafts seem to be leading us to some pretty different outcomes. Is just like everyone trying to figure out exactly like who they want to play and how they want to make those moves, what size groups are moving across that map right now to really like refine what we're trying to do in this patch.
Yeah. Veno staying in the first phase bands there, Tiers. We do have a game 3 draft. Doom still being taken out as well, so that's all 3 games. It's not going to be let in at all.
But we do have a change in pick order at least, so for OG's sake, they can't first pick Spirit Breaker. They could maybe, you know, second pick it. But yeah, we are going to see a slight change up. And again, I feel like for OG, their mentality of aggression is fine. We saw Entity thrive with it this morning. They just need to make sure that if they are going to have this playstyle, they don't ever concede a lane for no reason. And it's like, I think as long as they have like BZM on active hero and both side lanes have an element of we can kill you if you misplay, then OG will look pretty comfortable. And again, we didn't really see that in game 2. It was a more of a very like high mechanical, need things to go right, not feed away cheap kills and hit that one stride. So yeah, we'll see where they land on second pick.
Oh, I love this choice from Tundra. Well, I kind of hate to see it, to be honest, because again, this like idea of the support bat, I wondered if maybe they might try and pull it out at some point, but having the first pick, they want a couple options open, and looking at the heroes they don't want to deal with, they just ditch the bat for now for Tundra, and that's putting this pressure on OG as to what are we giving up for the first overall pick?
Let's see, what's the 100 dudes from the major? Let's double check.
I was going to say, well, the Coddle is the one that's standing out, right? Like, do OG...
I think that makes the most sense. Just because like they've played 2 games in a row, it's getting better. They probably have a lot of the pairings. 3-3's been playing it a lot. He has like 4 pubs over the past 2 days with it, and now 2 matches in officials. He's obviously very comfortable on it. It looks like his hero that he's really working on. So get rid of that because it seems like a really easy framework for them to build around. And we haven't even really talked about like Empower Mag, I feel like. Right now he's just Harpoon Mag, but there is still Empower Mag to consider during a lot of these constructed drafts too.
Yeah, this is the issue though. Like, even though Mag is on the rise, we're seeing 3-3 get more comfortable on it. He's a notorious Beast player. A lot of people were in that sort of last patch, but Beast himself hasn't changed too much and still worthy of a first phase T.
Yeah, extremely strong, especially because Beast has this like double whammy build where you can either go for the Dominator, Overlord, and push towers, or you can go for this Ags build and be potentially unkillable in the correct scenarios that lifesteal. So yeah, I think Beastmaster still holds its place. For OG at least, there's so many heroes available for them to pick up here to pressure the Beastmaster. They could flex some Monkey King if they wanted to. If Tiger was playing, I think they'd maybe rush towards it because they can floor and carry it. Don't know if Aramis plays it. Let me quickly double check his pubs.
I'm predicting an Aramis Techies. I feel like they're going to do a Techies +1.
Yeah, I know, I like that. But I just want to see kill threat where if this Beast walks up, it's like, guess what? We're walking to lane, and what you did to our Darkster in the previous game, we're going to replicate that as well and shut you down. Underlord Rubik. Sure, it's been a first phase hero throughout the major. Extremely strong. Even with the slight nerfs in the patch C, or it's like mana cost was like 200 now or something, it's still extremely strong. There's like global presence, ability to buy auras so easily, and also enjoy buying them unlike other heroes. So yeah, it's very strong.
And super stable with the Rubik. So just really not giving anything away, too. They could definitely flex this as well in terms of like the 5 or the 4 Rubik if the lanes match up right. But Classic versus the Underlord, of course, they're going to pick up a really early Ursa and just say, we are very confident that this hero is that good versus Underlord that we're going to pick it up now. And is a hero that can also go sort of like Monkey King in towards slightly different trajectories in terms of his builds and like what timings you want to hit based on diffusals or Battle Furies or what have you.
Yeah, I think Aramis now, if he does want to play a more aggressive 4 and push the Rubik to a 5, he can play some Willows, some Techies, like any of these heroes that are super aggro. But again, if you put Rubik in this lane, you have Fadebot, you have Lift, you have plenty of defensive capabilities in this double pick so far. And they will be able to, obviously not truly punish an Ursa, but they'll be able to survive, get farm, and if Ursa misplays, then sure, you might get a kill, but it isn't as if this Ursa pick's like, wow, what a perfect lane already. You know, there's ways for OG to survive through this one.
Some more bans: Monkey King, Bloodseeker, Pango. Anything else that really sticks out? Most of the time, actually, in this second phase ban, it's been a lot of supports that they take out, like the Ench is still in the pool, Oracle, Coddle. We seem to take it out so often that it feels weird that right now they're just being completely ignored between the two teams.
Yeah, I think, we're at like 24 matches now. This will be our 25th match, and Coddle was in 21 of them. Mostly banned. So him and Doom have been the two most popular alongside Beast, Monkey King. We are definitely like having a pretty like one-dimensional drafting style so far as DPC starts. So yeah, I would be a little surprised if Coddle makes it through. Looks better for Tundra right now, obviously, with like double supports open plus the potential for like Coddle Beastmaster.
Mm-hmm. Are you liking the sound of any other supports, T?
I'm just trying to think for Tundra, because they're going to see one more hero before they have to double pick. And it is rare that you often see like the face-up value of the cores from first pick, like a Beastmaster into an Ursa. It's like Tundra, they can't hide anything here. They just need to make sure they have a really stable draft. And these heroes luckily can do that if you just pick up the correct heroes. And you know, I'm interested to see where OG, pivots from here. Because like this next pick needs to not reveal a lot, or at least just be stable enough that Tundra are uncomfortable then having to do their double pick. So I'm still kind of up in the air right now with where I'm landing. I think it's OG to dictate. And normally here they just go for use some casual mid hero or something. And then it's like, haha, now we can pick up our good lane counter on our supports and have a nice time.
Yeah.
What's the BZM hero here?
Yeah, but what about like the cheeky stuff? You know,
Go on.
we don't get
Give me a
cheeky
slice
stuff
of
with
cheeky.
10th pick. You know, well, you know, like the Tinker and stuff. If we do that now because they have 10th pick, you know,
All right.
do you want to devoid the world of that?
Yes.
I mean, yes, but
Sorry, that wasn't me. That was someone else.
No, I mean I could see some like a voice or something for OG where it's super playmaker. Like basically, you want the mid hero to look at Underlord and go, "Oh, they're wasting some time. Let me just TP help you out." Or it's like, "Oh, they're ganking. Let me turn the favor back over." So I'd love to see BZM on Invoker, Voice Spirit style hero that can just ping pong around the map and do what he needs to do.
is he alive now? By the way, with in your opinion, with the buff,
Oh, I mean, it was
the Invoker that is.
Oh, he's
I mean, it was something, you know. He definitely needs a little bit of love right now. I know Invoker obviously very well loved. He has not yet made it into the picks, just a single ban so far in our DPC, so hasn't had his chance to shine.
Yeah, some context. It was tornado distance on early levels is drastically increased. The shard of EMP got increased as well. Some pull speed and some other slight changes to media and cold snap. But overall, it was like some nice buffs to a Coswex Invoker at least.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
OG,
Clinks.
yeah, they go for the Clinks themselves.
It's going to return here.
We'll see if it's going to be a little bit more successful than when Tundra picked it up for themselves in game number 1. And like we said, that Coddle, you liked it a lot more, Trent, for Tundra. OG weren't going to pick it up for themselves, so it does get banned out, doesn't get let through, doesn't get looked over in any way, shape, or form.
You don't want to play into Coddle Beastmaster. Like that lane, it's axe spam, illuminate spam. You go to kill them, there's bore slow, there's blinding light. It is just so painful to play into. So yeah, I think I love the fact that they do ban it out.
We saw a lot of the bounty as well earlier today. I don't know if that's something that's really worth it versus, like, obviously it just comes mine versus Clinks anyway, but I think it's going to be a pretty team-specific thing. Like with like GG playing, you kind of got to practice it up, maybe like the Clinks, and we'll see if it continues to be strong. But this guy makes his face. He appears perhaps not as a core this time. Don't think there's an IO coming up right now. It looks like it's just classic Maledict versus Underlord. Big fan here. Love myself a good Witch Doctor. Been a dead hero for a long time.
Yeah, potentially might be a dead hero if Tundra are to lose this game. People might lose faith in it, but when you think about the reasoning, it is against, of course, like you mentioned, the big tanky boy. You've got the Ursa. If you get on top of them, it's going to do pretty well, but I feel like Tundra, they go for Bounty Hunter as well. This is the most get one item on Beast, Fury plus Blink on Ursa, and it's just go, go, go. Don't allow OG to hit that greed, but it's so face-up value that OG can just pick some heroes that can skip waves, delay, and as long as they don't get crushed in lanes, they should be able to counter-pick in the next 2 picks to give themselves breathing room in this game.
And classic counterpick to the Slark instantly. To the Bounty Hunter. Picking out the Slark right away. Feels good. Also fine versus Ursa. You just kind of have like a weird match up in terms of like, if you get stunned, yeah, Ursa kills you, but that's just Ursa with every hero. So you have your own mobility and escape and even ways to perhaps pin down that Ursa to help out. So very slippery and annoying team for OG. So at the very least, they're going to have that Bounty Hunter to keep track of it. Curious to see how the lane looks. Because it'll be Dire's side, Beastmaster plus Bounty Hunter, and laning into presumably Slark and Rubik. I would guess they're going to set it up that way.
Sounds a bit underwhelming as a lane, to be fair. I mean, that's going to be
an
issue here. It's like they've got like a Slark which should have a nice game, but it's like its lane isn't enabled by that perfect support. So for Tundra, it's like, okay, so Beast shouldn't get fully shut out now. He can play a lane. Bounty just chills there with some blood grenades, some good positioning. It can be quite annoying, and OG aren't really taking towers either. So when Tundra want to quickly greed up for like 10 or 12 minutes to get those items or whatever, to then make bigger plays, maybe 15 minutes if you're being realistic, OG's not suddenly breaking the map before that. So I think Tundra will always be comfortable hitting that first timing that they need to as a team.
Do it, OG. Ban Earth Spirit. It's the only way. Complete it. Like, how often does that happen where it's like, yeah, they ban Ember, they ban Void, you're just like, oh, wait. So we just like, we want the same thing here? Is that what you guys think?
I'm not even in contention for these spirits. These are the cool spirits.
Whoa! Earth Spirit fans out there, don't listen to T-Gub, okay? He's just projecting at the moment. Don't listen to him.
Listen,
All right,
Earth
I'll
Spirit
wait.
mid Crimson, it's all there. All right, it's fine.
I've seen it. It does dabble. Alright, what's the 9 hero, boys? What are we saying?
remaining.
Uncounterable mid is Pango's gone. Yeah, they banned the queen. That's it. They're all gone. Oh my god.
You
Wow,
called it a
back.
dead hero last time, Trent, and it's coming out in a game you weren't expecting.
It's funny because I almost mentioned the 9 Wyvern when I was mentioning it before, just 'cause it was versus the Magnus, but yeah, I would not have expected it here. We'll see if that even is what's happening. Presumably, it looks like that's going to be the setup.
Don't have faith in the mid bounty hunter.
Immediate
I'd rather
puck.
see the okay. So a very nice puck pick. I was mentioning a lot of just they need these counter picks that skip waves and stall the game out to hit their bigger timings because of their early damage, and puck will be able to do that as well. For Tundra though, Wyvern, Universal Hero, we have to utilize that for some extra damage. The core Wyvern always needed damage. When you think about his 10 talent, he goes Witchblade, then he goes Axe. Like he's always looking for the damage to be annoying. So becoming a Universal Hero will help him. And for Tundra, like they're always going to have Track Vision, Hawk Vision, Ursa to frontline body for Wyvern to be the carry behind it. So I think Tundra are going to be really excited to play this very aggro style of draft, but if they misplay a couple times, I can see this getting a little bit awkward. Some Wyvern just feeding to puck coils, Clink's picking off everyone. So
I'm
Tundra
curious to
trying be
see
aggressive.
like how 9 does it, because being universal is nice because you can pick up the Atos and get damage, which is hype. But it looks like kind of a rough Atos game. That's what he tried before when he was trying to make it work in his pubs. So I'll be curious to see if he goes that route here. But yeah, I mean, we always like seeing the 9 Wyvern, so bring it back.
Yeah. Outside of that, do you think the early Ursa pick is going to be punished, T? Do you think that this Skidder Ursa might not get the level of farm or the timings that they're hoping for?
I think Ursa should have a pretty chill time in this game.
Okay.
I'm not seeing towers falling quick enough for Ursa to lose out on his map. It's more when Ursa hits his item timing and there's a Wyvern timing, do they play correctly with the bounty to keep going forward? Because as soon as they stop moving forward, it's going to be miserable playing into some Slark jumping you, puck with no real CC or consistent CC or lockdown.
Yep.
So I just like the fact that Tundra feels like they've just gone, you know what, OG, you were super aggressive game 1. Game 2, it's what this, we're just outplaying you. Game 3, we're going to be the aggressors with our quirkiness. So it's a full circle kind of play style, I guess, in this series.
Yeah. And very quickly, Trent, what hero and or timing are we looking for OG to take game 3?
Delay, like T said. Definitely the way I would be thinking about it. Split the map, wait, hold on, try and get this Clinks into being the nuisance that he is, and try and play off the back of solid coils. Good defensive plays will be really helpful for them.
All right, we'll see if OG are able to do that, if Tundra are going to be able to have this quirky 9 mid-pick pay off. As we do jump into game 3, OG up against Tundra with Fear and T-Panda.
Thank you so much, Nats, and of course, welcome back here with T-Panda and with Fear, the 2-time TI winner, the 3-time major finalist. Is that what we found on the Fear Twitter chat GPT? If you
Google
don't
Bard,
know,
actually.
then Bard, that was the one. A wise man once said, "Hold the line." Can OG hold the line?
That's a great question. Am I supposed to answer that?
You don't have to.
Oh, okay. Then I'll defer to you.
Hypothetical scenario, of course, that OG, they have to stretch this game super far. The panel said that you don't rush your timings. There's a core Wyvern specialist on one side, a lot of pushing power, and of course, the laning stage. I think most crucially, the laning stage. It can only go better for OG, or can it? They lost both side lanes last game.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doomsday scenario for either side. It's really going to come down mainly to how does the game shape up, right? Like, are you going to get your wisdom runes taken from you by bounty hunter? Are you going to be in a situation where Ursa's killing your underlord, or did you manage to play your lane properly and now you're pressuring the Ursa instead? All these little things really add up. How much is a Beastmaster getting in the laning stage? We'll have to find out, but I think both teams have the tools to make the tides of this game turn in their favor. It's going to come down to execution.
since there's a lot of like possible options that both teams can execute, can maybe get lucky with, what's the most least likely sequence that might happen during the laning stage here? I mean, obviously, probably not like Rubik gets a double kill, but throw me something that probably won't happen, because I want to jinx it a bit, because I also want to believe it might happen.
Something that won't happen? I don't think 9 is going to first blood BZM in the mid lane.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's what I think won't happen.
Believer in that. Like, 9, I mean, Trent already called the Wyvern like 1 game ahead that potentially, but still I don't think we're going to be seeing this hero because of the weaknesses or the strengths of it. But BZM is going to have to play against the specialist of the hero. Of course, 9, they're already taking a really big brawl here. BZM still has that phase shift to dodge an attack, but 9 is not going to turn around for it.
Wait, can 9 do it? Can he get the first blood against all odds? No, he can't.
We'll have to wait a bit longer.
But they did get low, and it was close. I was sweating there for a second. Put me on the spot there, like, what's the one thing that couldn't happen, and then boom.
Oh, the classic caster curse, right? It can happen from any possible perspective. It's like the most unlikely thing, and it still happens. And I feel like OG is sometimes the team that can pull it off, but Tundra, usually a team that's masterful at stretching out games, can be very long, drawn-out games, but they find a win in the end. OG's going to have to play into their playbook, technically.
What's going on here in mid lane?
Mid lane is, yeah, I was looking at top. Like, this is interesting creep shenanigans.
Oh, BCM's waiting for his bottle. Okay. I thought he was going to go steal both runes, which he still might be able to do.
Yep. At least the creep wave is all the way behind 9's tier 1 tower, so...
I mean, I think the trade-off here is he's going to get both of the runes here. But he did lose a bit of EXP because 9 keeps dragging the wave behind here. So we'll see which one's the better trade-off here, as 9 is low on resources now. And Puck does have a full bottle with the water rune in it. Interesting stuff, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's something that you don't expect, at least, to see the whole time. Is this something that mid players should be doing more often? Because, like, the whole importance of losing your mid-tier 1 tower, it's not so huge, and you also got to time your pushes. But if you can just play around in these early levels behind these towers, do you feel like it's... Well, I mean, I think we'll probably know in like a minute or two that it actually pay off for 9 to keep that play there.
So my prediction is now safe. Whew.
You are safe from it for sure. Maybe Beastmaster to drop as well. He does get a big wand heal, but Yuragi, plenty of stacks onto Saksa, but he's also going to walk out with 60 HP intact. Keep us alive. And Tundra, 3 first bloods in 3 games.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Off to a good start here. They did manage to get the first blood on the Clinks. I talked about it before. Clinks is a hero that, if you get on top of him, he can't really do much. You can get a little bit of HP back, 175 worth. But once you get the blood grenade on you, you get the slow from the Earth Shock. Underlord can't help you that much. You're great at harassing with the Clinks, but you just got to all in and kill him. Bounty will go down. He just kills himself.
Yeah, he just kills himself to the tower. He was super low on regen. So quick reset back to the lane. 33 going to need some help from his friend. 2 points in wild access as well. So maxing out on the farm and harass. And also he gives him the option to just rotate early into the Ancients. Doesn't necessarily have to top lane, though. We got some kills happening here as Aramis does go down. Snaking lives. DM left empty-handed.
Yeah, we're starting to see like the popularity of this Clinks rise, but we've seen 2 games now, and I played a game yesterday as well. I went 0-10 with Clinks and fed my brains out in the off lane as well. You can... I still won the game, though. That was the important part.
What was that with the Sand King?
No, Clinks.
No, I mean like with a Sand King playing as Clinks.
Oh, I don't know who my lane partner was, but I was playing versus Slark, and
so you played a +4 in a lane, but you don't know who you were with. I like where this is going.
I mean, I was 0-10 that game. I blocked as much as humanly possible from my memory.
Right. Okay, yeah. That makes
even though I
sense.
still won, right? But regardless, the point is that if you jump on top of Clinks in the laning stage as a +4, he dies easily.
Yeah.
Has been killed.
That's a good start from 33 with the wild axes. Already dropped the Rubik low, try to bait him in for a couple hits, and 33 is just, my time has come. That's already 3 kills going up their way. And these are both from the side lanes. Mid still very even, you could say. 24 to 26 CS, BZM and 9. And Rubik coming back to the lane as Uragi is in major trouble. Socks up, low on HP. Not tanking the tower either, though, so he will be fine with that. If he did, he probably would have died.
I mean, Uragi's so dead. What can you do? As Klinks dies again in the top lane.
Okay.
All right, feeding the brains out of the Klinks here. All right, so what I was getting with this Klinks pos 4, and from my experiences and from these past 2 games that I've noticed, this hero as a pos 4 that's laning the off lane is very dangerous. However, I did play it as a pos 5 one game, too. You know, Klinks became a hero that I saw being played as support. Me, a Klinks lover myself, jumped on the train, as I'll never finish the story as BZM will be killing Sox in the mid lane. But I'll speedrun the story now. In the safe lane, Klinks can right-click and not be in trouble near his tower. So maybe I was thinking they would lane it against the Beastmaster, because you can also eat the boars too. In the early levels. I think they may have mislaned a bit here on OG.
Yeah, this was the this was the one scenario that T-God said that if this happens, OG's going to be in major trouble. And this is exactly what's happening right now. 5 kills for Tundra. They're keeping up in CS, but DM already kind of forced away from the lane.
Oh, the roar.
Snaking's opened up to get a bit of rotation. And yeah, they're definitely attempting with that roar, but it's just not quite enough. At least it's a lot of harass that they're able to deal onto the Slark. He is level 4. He's just almost quarter into level 6 already.
Yeah, it's just from the new patch, right? This roar lasts 2.75 seconds. He got the leap off just in time in Uragi, and then the roar just ran out super quickly. And Tundra got double Wisdom Rune. Alright.
Hey, alright. So it's in the bag, right? Well, not to paint a grim picture, of course, but it is not looking very good. Always trying to look at the flip side of the book, you know? You got the happy start, even if it has a sad ending, you know?
Well, BZM might try and make some... Oh, that TP versus Puck. I don't know if that'll work, but the TP from snaking...
See if they can work it out. That's going to be death number 4 for the Klinks, however. Puck is also gone, so TP rotation for nothing. Chew also dead. Chewed up by Skitter at 33. And they found the Slark as well with that ward, so they know exactly where he is. 30 seconds for Roar. Not going to be up, though. Pounce in 3. Soxa. Can he get that one quick slap? Nope. Not going to be close enough. Slark driven out from the lane, so 8 minutes in, every lane is in peril.
I'm having PTSD for this Klinks on his behalf. Because, like I said, I played a game that was very similar to this, and what do you do at this point? You're level 3, both Wisdom Runes were taken. Actually, my game wasn't this bad, but, like, you're level 3 at 8.5 minutes as a Klinks. You're supposed to win your lane as this hero. That is, like, the whole reason why this hero is even slightly viable. It's one of the more greedy supports right now. Doesn't have that much utility. You're playing versus a bounty hunter. And then you also have a Rubik who's level 4.
It might get opportunity though. Soxa walks under the ward, so we're gonna get some burst damage out. Coil is also up right now, so if they don't manage to close him out, the dust's already run out. Wild Coil. Okay, there we go. There we go. They got the sentry down, giving some extra vision. But it's a 3k lead for Tundra. While all of this was happening, side lanes are farming. Everyone's pretty happy on the side of Tundra. Battle Fury coming on a pretty good timer here for the Ursa. So all is going according to plan for Tundra. But OG, how do you bounce back as soon as possible? What's the timer you're looking at to kind of corral your team together and punish Tundra? Is there timing of that anymore? Does it exist?
There's no, like, obvious timing where you go as a team and make things happen, but BZM is having a good game. So you play around BZM, play around his hero, make him strong. You just have to rotate with him, get some kills, support him with the Klinks. I want Klinks to... Okay,
DM's
going
dead.
top lane.
He's going to die to Maledic, but they're going to go for the turnaround. Look for some damage, at least Skitter into the high ground. Uragi will find himself between the Bounty and the Ursa, jumping onto the Witch Doctor, finding a kill for himself. This is going to be his first perma Agi stack. And BZM did not have his coil of cooldown. It was previously used on the Bounty kill in the triangle. But they're not giving up just quite yet. Skitter with Soxa. They spot Aramis. There's nowhere to go.
There sure isn't. He's just gonna have to end up hitting the jungle. Luckily, you do have Death Pact. It is only level 1 right now, so it doesn't give you the best avenue of farming. Not really doing himself any favors of coming back in this game as Chu gets scouted by Soxa here.
Yeah,
Throw him to the high ground, but he might
You
just
already
be
got
dead.
3 heroes farming the jungle, and they're just hunting down a poor Rubik here at the same time. Soxa gonna have to TP out, but you know that's a small loss for him.
Yeah, I'll be real with you,
rolling.
T-Panda. You know, 5k gold advantage at 10 minutes. It's not pretty. So, like, I think you really do have to just rush BZM.
That's not pretty for OG for sure. Tundra, I feel like they're just being handed out a game here. Soxa will drop down. Curse coming out. Aramis, death number 6. One more hit.
Oh,
That's
no.
going to do it. Yuragi is still final right click. All calculated by 9. Yuragi doesn't even find a return onto this Winter Wyvern who's just chilling.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I'm trying to
Dota
rack
was
my...
a beauty contest, but it's super grim.
Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain here and think of, like, all the possible things that can happen. Then I just look at Klink's level 4.
Yeah, I'm
11 and a
also
half minutes in the game. Hasn't finished Medallion. All right, so
Yeah,
scrap
I'm
him. Let's
also-
not think about him anymore.
I'm trying to
Chu,
think of a better way to put this game than this game is very dire.
it's very dire. For the dire. Not very radiant, that's for sure.
It's not very radiant for sure.
Definitely not.
6K
And
lead
DM
now.
is also... We haven't really talked about him very much, but he's the lowest net worth core in the game. The Slark, second.
Okay, portal into mid. Maybe 9 is a kill. Maybe. He got the root from the Pit of Malice, but he's still flying just about. Walks into the arms of DM, but he knows he doesn't have the damage to take the kill. And they got the Witch Doctor Ward placed down on the ground. There's going to be a couple projectiles still connecting onto the Underlord. Let's see if he lives. No, he's dead.
Oh,
Snaking's got that
BZM.
kill. And BZM also drops. The roar comes out, and it's just all coming apart. Oh, gee. Oh, boy.
That right there felt like putting out the final candle for OG. Because, like, BZM, he was the only one having a game. He was owning. He actually was owning this game. He's still having a good game. Nobody else, except for him, has a resemblance of the game here. And that's why you see Roggy. Roggy, I think, given his circumstances, doing a good job. He's running around the map, trying to make things happen. He realizes if he just sits back and farms neutrals, they're not going to win this game.
Radiant's
Yeah.
top
So they're going to need to
tower is
continue
under
to
attack.
find ways to make things happen on the map. BZM's going to have to continue to use his hero to make plays. But who's he going to play with is a big question. It's almost got to be Yuragi at this point. DM,
Yeah, I know.
he's level 7. I guess that's okay with the Firestorm damage.
And also talking about the fact that those first Wisdom Runes were both taken away, and the next ones are about to spawn as your map is already getting smaller. It just could be that OG supports, well, at least one of them is never going to see level 6, and that just might be the Clinks. But they do find a kill at Soxa, so BZM still keeping up what he can do. I mean, this is what the puck was made for. The big damage battery early on into the game. If you don't get caught, you have free reign, you can still dictate and dominate a lot. But another death and Puck's games, fair to say, might just be over.
The whole game might be over. We'll have to see. I wonder whose idea... Well, I'll hold that thought as Snaking dies.
Takes the DD away from BZM.
Oh, does he
He's got
die?
a lot of
Abyss
healing
plus
and,
max voodoo.
oh, and a bit of a shield on top of that too as well from the Pavis.
Here we go
Ursa
again.
Smoked up, going on the side, and there's a portal onto the left side. They found Soxa,
Oh,
but he's
no,
taken
double
away the
wisdom.
Wisdom Rune.
Again!
Oh dear.
Well, that segues into my next topic really well.
Welcome to Fierce TED Talk.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, there's not much Dota to watch here. There's a little bit. We'll have to see. OG has to make something big. But I wonder when they were making this change to 7.33C, they're like, we're going to give Wisdom Runes to 2 heroes now. That makes sense. I don't think they understood or factored into the implications that you could steal Wisdom Runes. Because it was already bad enough if you lost your Wisdom Runes in the last patch.
Yeah.
Now they made it twice as bad. And now it feels like insurmountable when this happens. You have some Clinks running around level 6, 15 minutes in a game because he didn't get Wisdom Runes. Now the other supports are level 9. I mean, Bounty's
look
only
at
level
hero
7.
level. DM is 7. And
Yeah,
Witch
GM's
Doctor's
level
already
7.
9 at this point.
You just don't have any experience anymore. Like, if this happens, you just are super under-leveled. And plus, you're losing the game from the laning stage.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do with LAN experience if you don't have the experience in your heroes? They got the Stolen Roar to turn it back around onto the Beastmaster, but still, where's the damage really coming out from? It is the Fuzzy Wuzzy, and Yuragi diving in deep, optimistic with this attempt with BZM. Maybe they can get a kill because that is a track that was used on top of the Beastmaster. Yuragi still, however, he gets killed off. BZM on the high ground, got the orb to try to run away. Another track onto Chu, and here comes 9. He's going to participate as well. And with that slow, we're going to look for another kill. That's a 7-0 Ursa with a Battle Fury, by the way. Absolutely enjoying this game. And BZM found... Oh, no. Okay, Maledict connects. If they get a couple more hits, that should do it. One Shuriken.
He should be able to live here if he dodges some Maledicts.
Yeah, he's going to have to remember to do it. Okay, he actually lives, but just the Shuriken. There we go. So he will live, but Aramis will have to take the bait for him. Oh, to let another live to give your life away for it. Skitter, he's taking a decent amount of damage here from the Slark. And 9 comes out with the curse. They've got the Slark locked down. The Orchid's also there. And a stolen curse coming in from the back from Chu.
Right.
Maybe this is the turnaround, potentially. That's a lot of damage from the Firestorm. Double for BCM. And OG, is this your time? This is one of the many pieces of the puzzle that they need to complete. And looking for the kill on 9, which is going to take place as the leash connects from Yuragi. 33 still on the run. 7 more seconds for another Primal Roar. Ursa considering, can we turn around and kill this hero? He just picked up a Blink Dagger. And they're very fearful for their lives, so they will let Skitter and 33 walk away. But that is something, that is something for OG.
Yeah, for sure. A classic situation of you're winning the game, you keep pressing forward. They didn't even kill the tier 2 yet. And somehow they're in the tier 3s, they're thinking they can kill that puck. But that's just what happens in a Dota game. You have to play off your opponent's mistakes.
He just burnt out prematurely as well, since I was still 2.5 minutes up for Skitter.
It helps, it helps. I think Skitter's not too sad about that. Tundra's still in the same spot. If they group up together, they're strong.
Sucks right on top of the Bounty Hunter, but he's also going to get locked up. So is the Witch Doctor. Aramis again. Just going to have to play bait for the team. Unfortunately, they can't get a chance to fight back. That tier 2 tower is going to drop. Still going to be using the glyph for it. Make Tundra work a bit harder for that tower.
That was like the most fitting kill of all time. Will they get snaking?
I mean, he's trying his hardest.
So
enough.
With that kill, with Skitter killing Aramis there, Skitter went to 9-0, and Aramis went to 0-9. That was a very symmetrical kill.
So if, you know, Ursa and Bounty Hunter, the Clinks just need to be facing off against each other's, and we have a nice pattern building here.
We do, as Yuragi is just going to end up in the enemy jungle, the safest place for them to farm right now.
And scout it out.
Oh,
Skitter
curse
9 on the
range?
chase.
Not quite.
Bit too far away from that, but OG, I mean, they've recognized the situation quite some time ago, but they're also corralling some small defensive victories. However, it comes from so many different quirks that you have to be Rubik stealing track, roar, Winter's Curse, most importantly in that last fight, was able to turn things around for them.
I mean, Chu's been playing great. His steals have been on point. He's getting everything he needs to for the fights, making what he can out of this game so far. And they actually end up seeing Skeeter here. Speaking of Chu,
roots and Chu, he's got vision. Not a lot of directions where to go to. Meanwhile, a roar has been used on BZM, but 33 in peril. Curse on a stolen curse. They finally got rid of Chu.
just getting a little bit of extra value there.
And I think the pattern has been broken now as Aramis gets killed by snaking.
Okay, Skeeter just needs one more kill. I need to beat mirror opposites here. But I think you're doing what you can on OG right now. You just need to split the map up. You took a couple good fights. The net worth lead it's not great, but it's not climbing, at least in the opponent's direction. So that's good.
Get
your items
like
up.
OG. They're like a, you know, like a bunch of steampunk kind of
BZM.
scrapyard guys who are trying to make things work. BZM, that's
close.
a very close one, yeah. Able to TP out. But yeah, they're basically like workshop scrappers at this point. Let's just put this pipe on top of this pointy thing and maybe it works as a weapon. But simply the map is just a lot harder for OG to play right now, surrounded on all directions. Soxa with that phylactery just keeps on slowing down Yoragi here, being an absolute pest. Thomas is here, and here comes Skitter. A couple slices, but he does get the Shadow Dance off just in time. Now they're going to take your Tormentor away.
I mean, how do you stop the snowball? I've been trying to think a lot during this like pause here of like, if you lose this much in the early game in this patch, how do you stop the snowball? Sure, you might think the map is 40% bigger.
Steal wisdom runes on someone, I don't know.
It's every 7 minutes you have another chance. At that point, it's like
timing is every when you put it that way, like every 7 minutes you have a timing. Probably
when
not.
you do, I think the first 2 wisdom runes are by far the most important. After that, sure, they do matter, but the state of the game by 14 minutes, most of the time is already solidified, and that little bit of EXP won't matter, as they will find the puck and take him out.
And that's also a track kill, so when he keeps on building up, it's actually really nice to have a track to provide vision, and then you have an Orchid on someone. So like, this puck just doesn't get to play this game. Now they're going to push high ground. Tundra, they'll look to keep their win streak alive versus OG. Currently 16-3 in terms of map wins, but OG yet to find a series victory for the last 12 months. It doesn't look like it's happening here either. Tundra rallying themselves into a tie and pulling a very hefty lead in Game 3. And a lane of racks already almost taken down. Skitter diving behind, looking for the cleave damage to almost kill Aramis as well, but DM, the target to drop. He's gone for 40 seconds. That solidifies one lane. Maybe
just like that. They just had to kill the Rubik, right? The one still in all the big spells there. They're able to get him out of the game, got the puck, and then all of a sudden, your base is melting because you're playing versus a Beastmaster. And now...
And they can all just clump up on the side of Tundra. They can just be this tight 5-man stack, and they're not afraid.
Yeah, the Witch Doctor with the Pavis, the pipe on the Beastmaster, they're definitely not afraid. The advantage in net worth is far in their favor here, and the damage output, quite frankly, from OG is just not going to cut it without a huge Rubik steal.
Trying to go for a wraparound from the back as well. Here's the attempt from OG to fight back, but puck's already down. The curse on the back line. Aramis will drop, and Yoragi is going to have to take this fight all by himself. DM's going to provide some backup support, but it's not going to be enough. The Slark is down, and Chu buys some time for himself, but eventually it is all towards the bitter end. GG called, and OG, they're going to have to tap out yet again against Tundra. Well, Tundra, they score their first win here at the third tour of the DPC.
This patch is incredibly snowbally. That's all I have to say. I was checking out the Liquid games earlier, 2 20-minute GGs. All 3 games here, absolute stomps. You got to get your early game in check. Your drafting, the way you do the early game rotations, prioritizing the wisdom runes, maybe perhaps picking heroes to take these wisdom runes. Your laning stage, it all matters so much. It feels like within the first 14 minutes of the game, if you don't have your stuff together, it's an uphill mountain to climb. The other team has to throw super hard, but this is just the patch we live in, so really got to back to basics here. Early game, laning stage, you got to play tight. This patch will not allow you to make mistakes.
And that's a fun fact as well. It's only been out for, what, a couple weeks at this point, and teams are figuring out slowly what is the approach for this patch. What's the next big thing that will work for a period of time. In 7-3-2, it was all about if you lose your laning stage, the game is over. But that was pretty much it. There was still a lot of variables that could happen. Right now, it doesn't give a lot of mercy, and I think you're totally correct on that. But as we saw, Tundra able to get the reverse sweep against OG. OG still cannot get a win after them since Stockholm Major. Let's see what the panel thought about this series. This was T-Pan here on the cast panel. Take it over.
Thank you both so much. Some interesting stats there about OG, how they're unable to defeat Tundra. And we always say Western Europe is a little bit of that rock, paper, scissors. They might be able to beat one team, but they fall to another team, which falls to Tundra all the time. And it's forever going, never ending, as they say. But Fierce, it's something pretty spot on there, T, how it is so snowbally. The way that this patch has sort of developed in the last few updates, it very much is heavy-handed on how your early game is going, and this game proved no different.
Yeah, I mean, you can already see it here with the highlights that we're seeing, right? It's got 11 kills, 13 minutes. You've already got some like 5-6k lead. They got the wisdom runes. They're just pretty much slaughtering the map. And even before the highlight here in the laning phase, you have kind of the same concept, which is you're the ones making the first moves, breaking the map earlier. And when you have this aggression, the kills, plus the fact that you're doing that, kind of going into farming items, and then being able to just ruin the game at 20, it's scary. Dota is in a scary place right now, where if you are trying to push the envelope a little bit with a bit of greed, be a bit cheeky, no, you're gonna get slapped down. Especially now teams are getting more confident with being aggressive.
This post-game scoreboard here, Trent, we can look at who really had that impact. Fio was telling his little anecdote about when he went 0-10 on the Clinks, Aramis. Kind of one-upping him there, going 0-11-6, the volatility of Clinks that we always talk about.
Fear washed can only get 10 deaths. Yeah, indeed. Aramis showing him, your time is over, old man. 11 deaths, yeah, but, yeah. There wasn't a whole lot outside of the lanes for that one, huh? In terms of like what I would look towards in this game, it would definitely be the opener of the Underlord and how they pressured it with the Witch Doctor, and just recognizing that if you aren't getting online, not every game's going to look like Ace or someone, picking up these Underlords and just being able to run the whole game down because of it. It's good to see that a laning hero can have such a big impact. Is it good overall for the health of the game? Where it feels like we've had a lot of games today that are over, like, between that window of like 10 to 14 minutes. Not sure. I mean, we've had patches in the past where it's been very snowbally, and without humongous changes, it has managed to slow down. But this one, we keep seeing changes, and we're still kind of on the same path.
Did you have something you wanted to add there, T?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a scary spot just because it's not zoo heroes in every game forcing 20, 30-minute games, Like, in previous patches or iterations of a patch, it's always been like, it's just because there's a Lycan or a Beast or whatever, some annoying hero. But now it's just because of the gold advantage that you gain from killing things, the fact that there is just so many more resources to utilize, and if you're effective with them, like, it's scary. Like, good teams will be able to utilize this to the highest extent. Of course, in pubs, you'll still get your 40, 50-minute games or whatever, but yeah, in pro games, average game time probably will decrease compared to previous patches just because of how ruthless they are when they do get a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, it's very different when you have a coordinated 5-stack up against, compared to just your normal 5-stacks. Yeah, 100%. MVP, for Tundra, a standout. Trent, do you want to give me your insight on who you think deserves it?
I mean, it's kind of lame to say 3-3 Beastmaster, but I feel like 3-3 Beastmaster just makes the game easy. Am I wrong?
Wait, Trent, I can let you into a secret.
All right, tell me. Give me your secret.
So let me just double check. So whoever's doing the interview, you say they're the MVP.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So then the segue's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, they thought I was the best player. I'm gonna give the best answers. So I'm gonna give.
So you're just hyping people up
to. I can't remember who said this.
Snake King.
Snake King.
I think Witch Doctor, not many people would be comfortable playing this. I hope he's listening right now. Look at this. Nearly, what was it, like 1.1% away from the perfect guild participation.
So close.
Yeah. But no, either way, it was actually a really good Witch Doctor game, just for the fact that he got to enable Xerxer, took a bit of a fight, and because it's very much a Pavis plus drum patch, honestly, it's like Witch Doctor's kind of like a Crystal Maiden, right? Like, you buy some active item, some cheap item, you do something in lane, hope that the game's won by 30, otherwise it gets really awkward. But if you can win it in 30, yeah, you're loving life.
Yeah, and Rubik doesn't completely obliterate you the same way that I feel like he does CM. I hate playing as Rubik CM. Sad.
That is true. So you've kind of given it away. I guess all three of us gave it away, but our winner's interview is going to be with Snake King. He is going to be joining us here, and we get to know if he was listening in. Snake, congratulations. Were you listening in then on who we gave the MVP to?
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for the MVP. I was very happy to hear that.
Very well deserved. I do want to ask though, you guys came 5th, 6th at the major. I know that you were hanging around and some of the other boys were hanging around watching the major. Do you think there was a lot that you guys learnt from watching those games, and were you immediately jumping into prep for the DPC, or did you have a sort of a down buffer period between the major and between now?
We had a little bit of down period for a couple of days where everyone went home and just kind of did whatever they want to do just to relax, because the season is very long and the downtime is very short. So we have to take the little time that we have to reset. And then as for your question for during the tournament, I think most people just took it easy, but I and AUI were kind of still playing pubs, and even after elimination and watching replays of the Liquid and Gladiator, obviously trying to learn what they were doing well. And I think I had a better understanding of the patch after watching how they played in the grand finals, and I came to some theory and I presented it to the team, and I think we have a much better understanding of how this patch is played now.
Okay, that's awesome to hear. Do you want to share any extra bits about that sort of insight that you got for this patch? Just small things that you're willing to give up, because I know that there was also that small 7.33C that also happened as well with the universal change.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think one thing for sure is like universal heroes scaling is pretty insane. Even though like most universal heroes got like damaged nerfs, but after you get a couple levels or you buy a couple of branches and circle it in the starting laning stage, you hit very hard and you scale really hard. So I think this is something more and more teams will look into. I mean, we've already been seeing like the Rune Ranger, Pangolier mids and more. And I think it's just, we saw Stormstormer Visage earlier. Like these heroes just scale super hard, and and they just get too much damage. You know, it's hard to last hit, and if you can't last hit, it's hard to play Dota.
Yeah, very true. For the series as well, we saw some pretty consistent bans for both Coddle and Doom. In your eyes, do you think there is hopefully a change for them, or do you still think that maybe they're not as OP? It's more just the fact that you were coming up against OG and you guys are such a Doom team that's why there was a lot of emphasis placed on that hero.
I think coming into this series, but neither teams really had like exactly the best idea of what the other team is valuing, because there's not much of a match history between us. This is our first series, and it's on a new patch, so we mostly just kind of went with the on the fly and see how what we were struggling against, what the OG was playing, and then we just adjusted accordingly. And I think kind of similar thing happened for them. They'd probably just ban Coddle Doom because it's some of our comfort heroes, and they don't really know what else we've been practicing.
Okay. Well, you guys made some great adjustments. T, if you have any questions you want to throw Snae's way?
Okay, yeah. All right, so, question. Of course, it's now Tour 3 of DPC. You're, American player in a European team. Have you had much time to be able to actually go back home and spend time with family? Because I always see you boot camping and, like, you're in your own little boot camp type stuff in Europe. Obviously, maybe not with the team, but you're always kind of based around Europe. Have you been here pretty much the entire time? Or, like, what's the kind of the personal side of you looking?
Yeah, it's been pretty rough. I'm still boot camping, and I haven't been home since the beginning of Tour 2, which was in beginning of March. And I don't. Originally, I wasn't gonna get a chance to go home until the beginning of August, because we are gonna have Dream League Season 20 right after the DPC, and then after Dream League Season 20, the major starts. There's just little to no downtime in this schedule. It's pretty insane. And then after that, the major, there'll be the Riot Masters, and then only after then, if you don't qualify to TI, there'll be TI qualifiers starting in beginning of August. So hopefully we don't have to play that. But in the event that if I were have to play that, then I wouldn't get to go home until August 15th. But I think fortunately, we did so well in the first season, I guess season 19 of Dream League, that we don't need that great of a placement for the Riot Masters to get a direct play in. So I'm going to get a chance to play from home and just kind of reset and relax.
Sure. And would you say that the extended time away from home, does it affect you like kind of negatively, or are you able to now? Obviously, you've been a pro for so long that you kind of got like a thick skin to kind of having to travel for your work. Like how are you kind of coping in that regard?
Obviously, it definitely plays a negative aspect in my life in that I don't really get to spend time with family and friends. I'm also boot camping by myself, I guess, the past 2 months now, every time it's happened, this past 2 tours, because we've recognized that like it's the season's so long, and if we were to boot camp for every single online DPC and play the major, like you'll pretty much never be able to spend time at home. But fortunately for them, most of them are European, so they can play on pretty low ping still from home. Whereas for me as an American, it's very hard to play from home when you're on 100 ping and trying to compete against some of the best in the world. It's just too big of a disadvantage. With TI being around the corner and being that important, and us not clutching enough points yet, so I still want to make the best of it, and it's just a sacrifice I have to make to try to qualify for next TI. It's a struggle.
Of course. Thank you for the honest answers. Thank you.
Hey, Snay. You said you've been on the grind. According to my numbers here, you've played about 48 matches in the last 8 days. So kudos, first off. I wanted to know, are there any players that you've played with that, like, let's say non-pros that maybe you want to, like, shout out? Or anything up-and-comers you've been playing with a lot in all these grinding games that you're just like, man, this player's really good?
Yeah, I think the CIS team, all of the Namiga players are kind of underrated. Most of them are pretty high rank, and they're actually pretty decent players in team. They're currently just got promoted to Division 1, and I think they're a team to look out for. I think they can definitely cause some harm against some of these like well-known, established Tier 1 CIS teams.
Oh, okay. I like that. Thank you. I won't ask you who you don't like playing with.
I was waiting for that one.
That's probably not great. Do you often queue with your teammates? I know there's this whole system going on now with the new party thing, so I guess you can't really queue together. But like when you guys get into a game together, will you like immediately like hop on a call, or do you guys just kind of like do your own solo thing, just as if it was anyone else on your team?
For the most part, we would just treat it as a normal pub. Obviously, we would prioritize picking our teammate if we were the ones drafting, which oftentimes or not, we like me or Skitter would be drafting, because currently we're the highest on the team. Sox is just he would be the highest if he didn't recalibrate, but he's too high MMRs for his queue time, so he just decides to recalibrate and lose 4-5k MMR casually. Just a player.
Smart. I like this. All right. I see that 4 hours ago you lost with Skitter. Can you tell me about this game? You were playing Techies. He was playing Medusa. How did you manage to lose a game with Skitter and Medusa in a pub as 2 professional players versus 2 Namiga players? Now I see what's happening here. Okay. It all
you see what's happening? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The Neiman players are just too good. But jokes aside, I think that game was... So some rough things happened, and then I didn't respond well to the enemy tri-laning our offlane, and then after, in standard pub fashions, after your offlane duel has died a couple times, they're ready to give up and just run it down, and that's what ended up happening after a couple minutes, and I was like, holy crap, the game is falling apart, and by the minute 5, the game was already looking kind of over. It was kind of rough.
So what you're saying is the trench never ends. That's what I'm hearing. So perfect.
It never
Thank
ends
you very much.
anywhere. And even at the very top, people are dropping items, destroying them, as we all well know. Go Throne. We all heard this saying many times on YouTube clips, and I think there was a team today. Well-known player, maybe a 2-time major winner that often is like, but well known for the open throne. Can end.
Yeah. Well, look, luckily your teammates didn't do that one in this series. Congratulations again, Snay, on the opening win against OG, and hopefully bootcamp treats you well. Also enjoying the fresh new haircut that you got. I can see that one. So enjoy the next few weeks of DPC.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for supporting us and watching the games today.
Oh, bless. Thank you so much, Snay. I reckon next time when we do our final series, we should get someone like Stay, someone wholesome, and we should get him to just close the show. Because I honestly, I wish we didn't have to do anything else and we could have just ended on that note. That was incredibly wholesome from Stay and really nice, honest answers too, T.
Sure, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I've never really asked meaningful questions. I won't lie. I thought I'd test myself. You know, it's nearly midnight.
You did great.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's only because this is the long con. You butter him up with the MVP to then hit him with the hard-hitting question. So next time, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, he gives you the honest, I miss my mom, I miss my dad, I miss my family, my dog. He's like, boot camp's so hard, but he's grinding through it. Tundra doing great. They're definitely improving their performance, and it's great to see all these teams placing importance on managing such a tightly squeezed schedule. Today, though, that wraps it up. We've got 3 series done and dusted for our day 1 of Western Europe. Let's have a look at our results because it's been quite a few hours. We started off with Liquid versus Entity, and that series was unbelievably quick. I think the first game was 21 minutes, the second game being 28 minutes or something like that. So that series completely steamrolled by Entity. Gaming Gladiators, Quest Esports went a little bit longer. We had some games go the distance, and then Tundra up against OG, as you guys would have just witnessed, did go to a game number 3 as well, but in Tundra's favor towards the end of it. And apart from the Entity one, which I think everyone could safely say Trent is the upset, was there anything else about the fact that these series went 3 games on the other 2?
I mean, it does still just show that the region's still very competitive, even though I would say that's, I mean, especially GG versus Quest, you're assuming that's going to be fairly lopsided. Like, there's not really a whole lot of hope for Quest. And it's not just, like, the fact they won, but the way they won. Like, they had to take advantage of some mistakes from Gaming Gladiators. The windows were pretty small, and they did snipe them. So that is certainly an impressive feat. Moving forward for them, definitely want to see how they perform for the rest of it. And then, I mean, you know, I will go back, just say, like, that's kind of crazy for the Liquid Entity thing. Definitely not expected. It's a great storyline coming into this because I'd really like to see Entity do well and make it to LAN to, again, just show how much depth there really is in the region.
Yeah, I mean, for any Liquid fans that'll look for some copium, they did lose their opening series last year and then went on to not lose a single series from there on out. So, you know, you can make excuses left and right, but Entity showed up. We can have a look at our Wednesday schedule as well. We can see what games, what teams will be playing in 2 days' time. It'll start off with Secret, who have come up from Division 2, up against Team Liquid, Entity versus Tundra, and Quest Esports again up against OGT.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we get to see Secret return to Division 1, I think they are going to be a true hit or miss team, I think, for this division. They did lose, I think, to D1 Hustlers in their Division 2 run. But yeah, I think I'd love to see Secret do well again. I'm basically here for the storyline of all the teams that are looking really good for TI to not qualify for this major. Just to make the DPC rankings wild, where it's like new EU teams come into the mix. SEA teams sending a whole new wave of teams into the major as well. The same 2 NA teams are coming over. Like, I just want this major to be really weird for some regions. So Liquid doesn't qualify. Throw in some Quest, throw in some Secret Entity. Why not? Let's just mix up the points and whatnot, and just really put some question marks going into the final kind of stretch before TI.
You are an absolute glutton for chaos, aren't you, T? You wanted to see the clinks, you wanted to see it succeed, you wanted to see it fail, you want to see all the DPC points spread out across all of Western Europe.
Well, you know, Wednesday's very important because this is how we find the beginning of the trail of how Team Secret are going to win TI. Remember, they're on their trajectory, right?
Right.
Third, second, it's coming. So this is where it begins. It's a long road starting now, and it might have to go through the qualifiers, but we'll see if this is the squad to do it.
Yeah. What were we going to say before, T?
So I'd say there's just a wave of Trent Secret copium or whatever that's just wafting through. No, I was going to say that this morning, with the whole Clinks thing going back full circle for a second, I said after it does well, expect it to be really shit later. And we could merge the morning clip with these games as well, and it just becomes
a montage.
Of like, wow, hype. Watch out though, even though it's good, it's going to be bad at some point in the DPC. Only had to wait 6 hours, and we got to see it fail spectacularly. So yeah, that's awesome.
Well, then that's your little content homework, T, for the next 2 days before we do come back on Wednesday. You guys saw that schedule. We'll see you all in 2 days' time for day number 2 of the spring tour for Western Europe.